Even work. Really just kind of subplots. Some of them don't really need to be in it, other than we want this person back and we want this other actor here. And when it does get kind of slashery in a couple of parts, that doesn't even work, because one, they can't really show anything in it, so it looks like you're watching an edited for television movie.
Well,
so
and it's not even... The film is PG-13. Is there anything in here you can think of that warrants a PG-13? I think it just warrants a PG.
Blood splatter? I mean, it'd be an 80s PG.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm talking. I mean, I'm thinking like Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, and all that, and I'm just like... What is in here that couldn't be in a PG film? What goes beyond
jump scares? That? Which, oh my god, those goddamn jump scares. I'm just playing hide and seek for no reason. Jesus. Like, and so what you're left with is this whole section where it's like kind of a slasher a little bit when these paranormal investigators or whatever, they show up. So then kind of...
I love that too. It's called... What were they called? Like spooky shitters or something like that. I can't remember what they were called. And it's a black and white and they have the credits like this. They're on TV. Yet they're going to go to Freddy's in the middle of the night. There's only 3 people in this cast. One of them's like, and somebody died here. Woo! I'm like, how many episodes of this have you done? You're doing this now. Like by episode 2, they'd be like, yeah, okay, we're done, Johnny, and he's doing that, and they just go in, just a cameraman, a gaffer, and the lady talking, that's it.
How is none of this shit been referenced in the other movie? Because like in the other one, you have characters in this who are just dropping information that, one, they should have dropped a long time ago, probably in the first movie, and then you have those investigators go in where they do stupid shit like guy falls in water and is just gonna stay there the rest of the time. So I don't know, piranha.
Scary movie. Of course, it's
an area piranha, whatever they were.
Can freaking get this guy, man. And then in the last act, when the animatronics kind of start terrorizing a lot of places, at first I was like, this should have been the whole movie, and they didn't even do that right, because they keep doing constantly where these damn things just keep sneaking up on people somehow, as if they don't cause an earthquake.
They're made of metal, yet somehow they sneak up constantly, and their eyes glow.
Constantly! They're just... And sometimes they're just magically behind them. Sometimes when dude is just typing at the computer, and he just looks up and sees one in front of him, a bunch of times this happens. It was driving me crazy. Every little thing in this was, right down to this science fair project that she has to do.
Wayne Knight is just like, no, we don't want to run this. You'll embarrass yourself. He's just the meanest, dumbest science teacher. And then he's like, I'll put it, whoops, and just
that was
throws
the part
it to
where
the ground.
As if 30 minutes ago we didn't hear this guy saying it's mandatory to be here. If you don't show up, you fail. Oh, I didn't expect you to be here. Plop. Oops. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to go get one of the animatronics, as if that...
How close was that place? She had to ride her bike, get the animatronic. No, take a car. They had to wait for the rideshare to pick her up. Go there, pick up the animatronic, come back. The fair is still going. They haven't gotten to her yet.
Oh, she wins, which I call bullshit. She didn't build that thing. She cheated. And then
to a point where even Wayne Knight's like, oh my god, you've just got a person in a suit. This is so late. Which of course he doesn't inspect it. He doesn't look at it.
Yeah. And then the animatronic is like, it goes to stalk him and says several times, I want to see what's inside his head. Why? You're not going to show anything. It's not going to be cool.
Yeah, I don't even know if they had like a sound effect, honestly, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish you were at my screen.
I know, I wish I was
We
too.
were the missing puzzle pieces, man. I just feel like, shit.
Because I do see what you're saying. I didn't...
We would have made it better for both of us. I was still having a good time, but I would have somebody to laugh with, because everybody was just a friggin' sourpuss.
And they're...
mine.
God, some of these actors are trying. They are. Some of them do fine.
They are, with the exception of Hutcherson, who's almost always good. I thought everybody was wooden as hell. Hilariously wooden.
There was one. Yeah, Hutchison was fine. Elizabeth Lyle, I thought, was fine.
Who she is? She the
yeah.
She's pretty one.
Compared to some, I see what you're saying. I thought she was fine compared to
everyone else.
Compared to some other, I mean, Matthew Lillard was having fun in his.
Yeah,
scene,
but he's only in a little bit.
Yeah, for a scene that didn't.
No, but you have that great fall where he's falling in slow-mo, yet somehow his arms are going in regular motion.
Yeah.
There's another great moment in there I brought up in my review where she's having this dream, because it's Freddy, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's also Freddy's Dead, where if you go to sleep, you're gonna confront something, because Matthew Lillard is trying to get her in her dreams, I guess. And she goes to sleep, and he's at the end of this hallway in this dream, and she says, "I'm not afraid of you." And all the doors open up. Okay, well, what, he's gonna be really close, he's gonna be decomposing or something? No, he's just walking towards her, and she goes, "Ah!" runs downstairs, banging on the door, "Ah!"
Yeah. Man, there was... I could have used more Matthew Lillard.
I agree.
Even if you could cut that scene and use nothing. But, like, there was one actor in this, though, that was just killing me. Every line read.
The kid?
Yeah. I'm that asshole.
Oh, no, I definitely am.
Jesus Christ.
And again, I was here for it, man. I dug every single weird, awkward, who the hell would talk like that? Why would somebody say that line? All of it just cracked me the hell up. And you know what it is? I found out, because there's one movie where I finally came to grips with this, I had to come to grips with this about bad movies, is that while I get into a lot of weird delivered lines that are awkward and loud and big and crazy and stuff like that, and they're not supposed to be, I do find myself, maybe not more, but about the same amount, getting into really wooden lines, sort of the George Lucas, Shyamalan way of delivering lines, and there is just so much of that in this. Eternals is nothing but that, so I had a great time with that, but there's so much of that delivery in here. Or even someone like Hutcherson, who it is legit. I guess nobody's not, you know, everybody's trying, they're just not succeeding. And Hutcherson is the only one coming close to doing okay, and even he has to have some moments that are like, what moron would say that? What moron would ignore these warning signs of a cop coming to you saying they're alive? It's like, can we focus on something else? Can we focus on how our date went or whatever the hell he was trying to distract it to?
They have to say a wooden line because they need to just stand there when they should be. You know what? They don't even have to be running. These things walk so goddamn slow, despite their bad editing teleportation powers that they have, or you could just walk away and be fine. If you get away, like at the end, we're like, they're gonna take over the whole town. No, they're not. Like, these aren't the gremlins. These aren't even the small soldiers. They're not taking over shit. God damn this movie, man.
I loved it. For every reason that you're saying, and for the just the exact same reason, I just was delighted by it.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all saying it's good. I shouldn't say that. I actually did... The first film is better, but I would definitely watch this one more, because the animatronics are doing stuff. They are killing people. You don't see it, but at least there's more of them, sneaking around when you should be hearing them clank, clank and everything. But the glowing eyes, they're in the corner, they're over there, they're, going around different places. Some are, like, mangled, and the guy will look up from his desk, and there's just the eyes there at the desk, and which doesn't make any sense, but it's creative, it's fun, it's stupid. It's giving me what I thought the first film was promising, saying this is what we're going to deliver, and this one finally does. It just happens to not be a good movie.
Oh, did you like it when he just put up that, like...
the animatronic mask! I thought, like, at bare minimum, he was gonna take, like, the whole head and put it on, which is already pretty silly, but I'm like, alright, like... I don't know how ghost animatronic works. I don't know, but, put the head on. Maybe the computer is blocking the rest of the body or something. I'm not sure. But he literally, it's just like a paper plate mask. Yeah. It goes like this, and it's like, oh, he's one of us. No, like, what is wrong with you? This is hilarious. Laugh with me.
That he keeps taking it off, too.
Won't you think you find like a rubber band, like you'd be typing and holding it up or something like that?
Yeah, just holding it up. He's like, "Ooh, that was close." And then this thing. You are blind apparently, so this thing is gonna just appear in front of you again, despite its earth-shattering feat. Just keep that goddamn... Man, this movie sucked. Oh my god. It's too cold out here for this shit. Oh, no, but I do agree with what you're saying, where I am sure if we could go back in time and work it to where we're at the same screening
we could
together.
both go to the same screening. That'd be great. When we were both at the wrong screening, we needed each other. We needed to be in the same screening.
Man.
Both of us would have had a better time.
Well, there will be a third because the way this shit ends.
Oh yeah, I thought it was building up like, well, okay, now the real climax is gonna happen, because I was like, well, that can't be the ending. That wasn't very satisfactory. And then it's like, oh, it is, okay.
There's gonna be a third one of these where just stay away from us. Why? Because we need this to happen so we can sequel bait.
I love too, there's two characters in this that are literally in this just to direct characters somewhere else. There's one guy that he shows up once. He drives the daughter, I think, to school or something, and then he literally doesn't show up throughout the entire film until the end just to drive them again.
It is true, because other than the animatronics, people too will just show up when they are desperately needed for the script to go forward.
The mastermind in this literally shows up once.
Oh, that guy.
And then, who's obviously the mastermind, and he has like eyebrows like this, like the Five Nights at Freddy's characters in the beginning where they all have evil eyebrows. He somehow painted them on his head, but then he doesn't show up again until the climax.
This dude, man, when that guy, who was introduced in the movie with a jump scare, so if that guy was an even bigger red flag, he'd have been played by Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of surprised it wasn't until then. I was like, well, okay. But yeah, that dude. I'm shocked this guy turned on us. What would you rate this? A+?
Well, it's one of those where I can't quite say F, like F, but I'm recommending it, kind of thing. Because there were some things in this I thought were creative and delivered more what the first film was promising in terms of the animatronics actually doing something, actually, trying to be scary and creepy. And I like that they talk in this one too, but I like it doesn't necessarily cheat what the first film was doing. So probably like a D+.
I was, for a majority of this, I was writing a D, and when it got to the 1200th time that thing just sneaks up on someone in a house, or just appears in a vent, appears in several places where that shit can't fit through. Man, yeah, this was a D- for me. I can't go an F, because it's like, I liked, Lillard had a couple of line reads that I liked, and a scene that was dumb, but I'm like, well, I like Matthew Lillard. It's kind of cool that he and Skeet Ulrich are in another movie again. Yeah. So, yeah, I won't go the full F on this, but this is one of the worst movies I've seen this year.
Because I've literally had nobody to bounce this off of or talk to or whatever. I take it back. I texted Tony from Hack the Movies because I saw he was seeing an early screening too, and I was just like, oh, you gotta let me know what you thought. And he was more like, just like, I don't know, still didn't quite work for me, blah, blah, blah. And I am just like, is nobody having the extreme reaction I am to this movie? And I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, I'm like, well, okay, that's something.
What is the Rotten
Like
Tomatoes?
15, something like that. Higher than you thought it would be. But, like I said, I was just blown away. Nobody was like, Like, oh my god, is this bad? You know, kind of thing. I thought this was like the Mortal Kombat Annihilation of Blumhouse sequels. Like the first one's just, it's just bad, but you know, whatever. It's not like the worst thing. I mean, I guess people that like the game, I like it or something. And then just the sequel is like, here's just bonkers insanity. Nobody talks right. Nobody does anything correctly. It makes no sense. You're gonna question everything. And for me, it really, really made me laugh. But again, I'm one of the few oddballs out there that thought Eternal was hilarious. So I could be alone on this. Maybe for a lot of people, it's just gonna be so bad it's bad. Maybe fans of Five Nights at Freddy's will like it. I have no idea. I only played the first game, and even that I didn't get through. I don't even know if I got through the first night. Because it was so scary. No, I just...
scary.
Yeah, I just had stuff to do. But it was a fun game. I could definitely see a movie out of it. But, yeah, it was D+. But I'm kind of recommending it.
Just see it. Just don't go see it alone.
Yeah, yes. Oh my god, that is it. See it with friends. See it with people to talk over and laugh at, share drinks. I wish we saw this at one of those theaters where you could get like pizza and drinks and stuff and just point and laugh. That's the way to watch this movie.
I just sat there with my sad bucket of popcorn. That wasn't even the Five Nights at Freddy's bucket.
But you finally dished out the money to get the Tron.
Oh no, it's still $75 somehow. Unless it is cheaper, they forgot to change the sign. Real quick, we both got books out now. Mine's out today.
Oh, that's true. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. We'll just whore these out.
Yeah, let's whore these out.
Here, speaking of which, I want a copy of this. You want to trade?
Oh, let me get you a better. That's my proof copy of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the not for
yeah,
resale.
It's got that. Yeah. So that's the one that's got some. That's the one that doesn't have page numbers attached to it yet.
I'll get you a copy. Page the 90th one.
It's all in the 90s. Practically the same book.
Yeah, very, very, very similar.
Got a picture of Jack reading.
I was gonna say it's Jack approved.
Yeah, it is. I was sitting there like it's best that he reads Doug's instead of Skinamax. He hasn't even seen Bikini Car Wash Company yet. He won't understand. This is on Amazon too, right?
Yes. If you go watch the short, you'll find a link to it. So it's also on YouTube as well, I guess.
I'll have links in the comments and in the description.
But not this one. It's not for sale.
Yeah, no. This one's mine to go along with the first copies I have of my other books that probably also don't have page numbers and some weird spacing in them. Hilarious. But what's whatever next week is gotta be.
I don't know, Avatar or something? Like, I know there's like movies coming out, but I forget what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, now that we saw the Halloween Christmas film, I love the fact that they didn't run this around Halloween. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, well, maybe they want to spend extra time to get it really good. That wasn't it.
Oh, yeah. Put it out in the... You're right. Didn't Blumhouse learn you got to stick to... Actually, I think this movie will do really, really well.
That'd be my guess.
But, like...
for the first weekend. Who knows how it's going to do the second weekend. I'll go see it.
I know with Megan 2 picking the wrong month to release it didn't work out so well. That had a bigger budget to it than... I think it had a bigger budget than this one did. Probably.
Oh, that'd be my guess. But, yeah, I don't know. We're going to have a movie night. We're going to go to, Hollywood Boulevard where you can get drinks and pizza and stuff. I'm gonna bring Rob along. We're all just gonna go because the second week it's gonna be dead. Nobody's gonna be there because nobody's gonna go back and see us again except us. Yeah. We're gonna have a ball. We're gonna have fun laughing at this movie.
Well, we'll have to make sure that we're together when we see the third movie.
Definitely.
I don't want to repeat this tragic scenario anymore. Take care.
What is going on, everybody? James Hancock here. I'm back with the box office breakdown for Sunday, December 7th, where Five Nights at Freddy's 2 managed to open to $63 million in spite of being projected to open far lower, although that's not quite as good as the original Five.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is now in theaters, and I find it ironic that this movie actually features an animatronic chicken, and yet a Minecraft movie is the one that got all of the good chicken memes. Life can be cruel sometimes. everybody, I'm Dan Merle here with my review of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This review was originally scheduled to come out yesterday morning, but that was delayed because of Netflix's pending acquisition of Warner Brothers, which is its own kind of horror show. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 sees Emma Tammy returning to direct, with Scott Cawthon, the creator of the video game, going from co-writer to sole credited writer of the screenplay. If you were thinking that a sequel to the first film could use some outside perspective for the second movie, well, that didn't really happen. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 picks up about a year after the events of the first movie. Josh Hutcherson's Mike, the security guard who was terrorized in the last film, is trying to forget those events and continue to raise his younger sister Abby, played by Piper Rubio. But Abby is still attached to her animatronic friends from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and when she receives a message from them asking for help, she heads to the other location that we didn't know about, the original Freddy's, where all of the horror that we know so far originated. Elizabeth Lail also returns as Vanessa, the cop whose traumatized childhood continues to haunt her, and Matthew Lillard appears fairly briefly in flashbacks as Vanessa's father, William Afton, the deranged child killer who was unmasked in the last movie. The cast also includes Wayne Knight as a petty science teacher and Skeet Ulrich as a grieving father in a Scream reunion with Matthew Lillard. Unfortunately, the former Billy and Stu do not get to share any screen time. While prepping this review, I went back to watch my review of the first Five Nights at Freddy's film, and it reminded me that I thought that the original movie was a slog to get through, a very slow film, that it didn't really do much to explain what it is about this franchise that makes it so popular, and that it wasn't really scary enough, or frankly good enough, to win over anybody who didn't walk in a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, I guess you can give this franchise points for consistency, because generally, I shared a lot of those feelings about this movie as well. However, there has been some progress. Instead of 2/3 of the movie being an interminable slog like the first film, only about half of this one was. I disliked the first half of this movie about as much as any other movie this year, but the second half at least does something to show why this concept is fun and why using these characters in a movie could be fun, and dare I say it, it actually threatens to become fun on more than one occasion. I'm sure if I was invested in this lore and invested in these characters, I might like the second half of this film quite a bit, but it felt to me, as a non-game player, like somebody who maybe went to see Avengers Endgame and watched the second half of that movie, having not seen anything else in the MCU. I can see why people are entertained by this, and maybe are happy at certain characters that show up. I just can't really share that enthusiasm. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, though, did remind me of some not very good movies that I like, and the biggest one was Freddy vs. Jason. It is not a very good film, but I enjoy watching it because I like those characters, and I walked into that movie liking those characters. My guess is that a lot of game fans are going to like this movie even more than the first because it does up the ante on the animatronics and it does deliver several exciting sequences instead of just a few like the last movie. Reports indicate that this movie got a substantial budget upgrade from the first to the second film, and at least you can see it on the screen. I mean, they do put more resources and it is substantially bigger than the first movie. Some things, however, did not improve from movie 1 to movie 2. First of all, for a movie franchise that's based on a horror or survival horror video game, neither one of these movies are very scary. Yes, there are jump scares, but that isn't necessarily what makes a movie scary. This movie does deliver a creepy new antagonist, though, in the Marionette, an angry ghost out for revenge. I enjoyed some of those visuals, but those are few and far between. The acting also is not particularly outstanding, and a lot of times it's pretty bad. Josh Hutcherson in particular seems very unenthused about being there, though I have to give Wayne Knight credit because he appears to know exactly what kind of movie he's in. The script is not much better than the performances. There was one kind of punchline that is used by one of the animatronics as kind of a menacing serial killer line. It's not meant as an inside joke or a running joke, or at least I don't think it was, but they use it 3 different times in the movie, as if it was written into the script 3 times and somebody just forgot that it was there. This is also one of those franchise sequels that expands the lore of the world by just saying, oh yeah, that super important thing, that's been there the whole time. I guess I just forgot to mention it. That goes for the original Freddy's Pizza franchise, which is critical in this movie, and it also goes for a major character who's introduced and then kind of forgotten about and then just brought back in the 3rd act and been like, oh yeah, no, this guy's a huge deal. It stretches believability that it could not or would not have been mentioned. It's just convenient because when they were making the first film, they didn't know they were going to make a movie with this character in it. And yes, I understand how ridiculous it sounds to say that something stretches credibility and logic in a movie about killer pizza robots, but even I have my limits. I am sure that many people who are familiar with the games will be chiming in saying like, well, yes, but that's all established in the lore of the video games. They're just adapting what's already been written. But in the adaptation process from video game to screen, you do actually have to, adapt that stuff. You can't just throw it up on the screen without explanation unless you are only trying to appeal to pre-existing fans of the game. And I think that that's going to be a big argument that is used for people that liked this movie, particularly the people that played the games and are into the lore and the videos and grew up with these video games, that are going to say, well, this movie was made for the fans. I understand that, but I also just don't think it's very smart to only make it for the fans. You can absolutely make a movie for fans to appreciate, but both films now, I think, have been made to the exclusion of non-fans, and that's just giving up a huge opportunity to widen that fan base. The film also sets up what I thought was an interesting concept, which is a Freddy Fazbear Festival, say that 3 times fast, where the townsfolk gather in cosplay and where the killer animatronics can blend in, but then they do almost nothing with it. And of course, the movie ends with a couple of blatant setups for a sequel, which, if this movie does as well at the box office as the original did, is almost definitely going to happen. The first Five Nights at Freddy's movie left me genuinely curious as to why people liked these characters in this franchise so much. This one at least gave me some idea of why that is, and I guess that's progress, but it still really didn't do anything to bring me into the fold. I will say that the animatronics, which are once again made by the Jim Henson Workshop, are even more impressive this time around, and the Workshop has really upped their game. It's been scaled up from the first film, so, the movie's got that going for it. And I did enjoy Five Nights at Freddy's 2 marginally more than the first one. The first half, like I said, I think is just as bad as I thought the last movie was, but the second half was entertaining enough that I stopped checking my watch every 5 minutes. But even though the second half of this movie is better than the first, it wasn't really enough to turn my opinion around on the movie as a whole. Like I said, my opinions of these 2 movies are pretty close to each other. Like the first movie, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on my personal scale still gets a rating of not a fan, although it is somewhat closer to It's Fine territory than the last film was. Five Nights at Freddy's apparently has 11 games in the main continuity, so if they keep adapting those games and each movie is an incremental step better than the one before, then by movie 11, who knows? Maybe Five Nights at Freddy's will be a See It Now franchise, just not right now. So those are my thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What do you think? Were you out after the first movie? Have you already seen the second movie? Do you agree that it's better than the first one, although not by much? Thanks so much for watching this review. Be sure to stay tuned right here for the latest in movie news. Of course, I'll be tracking everything going on with Netflix and Warner Brothers, as well as reviews, box office, awards, all that kind of stuff. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. But most of all, thank you for spending your time with this video. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.
For all of you fan out there that loved the last Five Nights at Freddy's film, the sequel is here. If you were on the fence with the first one and thought, it wasn't the worst thing ever, there's room for improvement, the storyline's kind of a disaster, but they'll figure things out in the sequel. Oh boy, how do I have news for you. They did not. Come with me on a journey as we head back to Five Nights at Freddy's, the pizza shop that just won't stop, and I'm going to give you all of my thoughts in a spoiler-free review. Let's begin right now. Say, as you monitor this video through an old camera, if you wouldn't mind enhancing on the subscribe button, I would appreciate it. That way you'll see future videos by me, and you won't want to miss them. If you were a big fan of the first Five Nights at Freddy's, why? Also, I don't really have anything to say to you. You're probably going to go into this one and be pretty pumped, and you're going to leave just the same, especially with that non-ending they gave me. But for everyone else that's not coming at this from, I played the video game, I grew up, it was my childhood, you might just want to watch an entertaining film that makes a lick of sense, you are going to be very, very disappointed. I thought this was not only a bad movie, I thought this was worse than the first one, which is speaking volumes. I took my kids to the first film. They were the age group that this is going after. My son Connor, 11, my daughter Olivia, 14 at the time. They both really liked the video game. I'm not very familiar with it. I know there's a Fozzie Bear type character running around. I think he kills people. There's Chica and some of the other flavors. But no, they're all into it, so I thought, hey, I might not have a good time, but they will. Wrong. They hated it too. They might have hated it more than I did. The problem is, these are now that's what I call horror movies for kids. So you're not going to get any real scares or thrills, but at least you would hope they would have the story figured out and the adults could get something. They don't. And what's even more mind-boggling is if you are going to skew this towards a younger demographic, perfectly fine, I have no problem with that, at least get to the point faster. The first film takes an eternity to get us to Five Nights and actually see the animatronic creatures. The second one doubles down. We hardly see any of them until the second half of the film. It's absolutely bananas, Gwen Stefani. Another thing that's mind-boggling to me, I always thought that the bear, is that Freddy, I imagine, was the main character, the one that people liked. Why is this a Chica story every time? Why did they go all in on Chica in these films? Which, I will give one positive right now. Megan Fox voices Chica. This might be the best performance she's ever given in her entire life, and that says pretty much nothing other than she wasn't horrible in this. It's the equivalent of when they used Hugo Weaving to do the voice of Megatron. And like, what part of him is Hugo anymore? It's all reverbed and synthesized. That's kind of how Chica sounds. You get a little bit of Fox stank in there, but not enough to really go, oh, that's who that is? And I'm being a little over the top. It's not her best performance.
The idea is voiced by a robot. It's a robot's voice, so that's why they have the reverb and the sound editing. This is a robot's voice.
Still and always will be Jennifer's Body. A great movie, by the way. Much better than this. So you have that disastrous plot where there's a little over the top. It's not her best performance. That's still and always will be Jennifer's Body. A great movie, by the way. Much better than this. So you have that disastrous plot where there's a killer guy, Shaggy from the live-action Scooby-Doo films, the dude from Scream 1. He killed a bunch of kids and shoved their bodies into animatronic machines at a, essentially, Chuck E. Cheese pizzeria. The kids' souls brought the creatures to life, the animatronics, and the rest is history. Or something. Like, what is this plot? It's so freaking nonsensically stupid. I can't imagine it follows the game one-to-one in that regard. But setting that aside, I can forgive a bad plot. I can forgive a really out there storyline. As long as the thrills are there, as long as the action's there, as long as the scares kind of are present, as long as it's fun, as long as it's lively, as long as it's colorful and bonkers and zany and all those other descriptive words I'm using, it's really not any of those things. In the sequel, we see the daughter from the first film. Piper's playing the character again, Abby. She's supposed to be 11. She acts like she's 6. This girl colors like she's 4. What a terrible job she does drawing things. Anyway, she's still very much obsessed with that faithful night, the 5 nights, I suppose, and she wants to see her friends again. And by friends, she means the ghost kids. The dad, PETA from Hunger Games, not to be confused with Peter, an actual name. PETA from Hunger Games is back as Mike. He says he's gonna fix them up. He's lying to her. He doesn't give a crap, but he can't fix them. What is he gonna do? He's an idiot. He's not going to do anything. No, instead, he's going to try to date the daughter from the first film of the killer. And that's a subplot I can't imagine anyone was asking for. Man, what's the relationship dynamic going to be from the kid in Hunger Games and some random-ass chick? I hope that really works out. Outside of the fan favorite animatronics returning, Chica's here. We love Chica. Gotta have more Chica. We have a brand new villain. The Marionette. The Marionette, it turns out, was the big attraction in the first location. Keep in mind, there are 2 Freddy's locations in this film, and both of them are apparently right down the street from each other because Abby's able to bike to the new one. What is going on? You don't put 2 Chuck E. Cheese 6 blocks away. That's just bad business. Even Starbucks is closing shops. I will give the film credit in this one regard. The Marionette is okay. The Marionette is kind of creepy at times. You know, again, if you're 5 or 6, and that's fine. That's definitely what this movie's going for. The critical thinking skills are out the door for anyone over that age. The characters that are in this film, I mean, I can't even think of another movie that has people so stupid. Maybe The Strangers, if you saw the new Strangers movies. This gives those characters a run for their money. There are several scenes in this film where a character will be walking, slip and fall into a 3-foot deep little waterway, and instead of, I don't know, getting the fuck out, they just stand there waving their arms around like something has a hold of them, but nothing does outside of bad writing. This is what you're up against, folks, for an hour and 40 minutes in a PG-13 film. I know some people were pretty jazzed that Wayne Knight is going to be in this. They are finally able to say, hello, Newman, once again. Unfortunately, he's kind of a bit player. He plays a science teacher who's a total douchebag, by the way. He's really giving it to the kids who are making incredibly sophisticated animatronics. He seems to think that they're all supposed to be Einstein level. I did find this one to be a little bit more violent. There are a few more kills that were aggressive. I thought, okay, I saw a little splatter of blood there. There was implied decapitation, short of course for decapitation. Outside of that, there's just really nothing. If you are a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, the video game, I don't know the justification for thinking this is the greatest thing or this does service to what you like. Let me give you an example. I grew up, of course, playing Mario Brothers because I'm 900 years old, the original. And when the 90s Mario Brothers movie came out with, you know, Bob Hoskins and those other guys, John Leguizamo, I thought that was absolute dog shit bad. And I was 11 or something. I don't even know. I was probably like 9. I didn't have to hide behind a fandom or justify its existence and say, hey, it gave me a lot of lore that I was looking for. There was a Yoshi in there. Daisy was in the mix. We set up a sequel. No, a bad movie's a bad movie. And a movie should be able to stand on its own and not hide behind the property that it's trying to mimic. From a production standpoint, visually and whatnot, it's not doing anything amazing, but I still think the animatronics are damn good in this. So much better than the story deserves, because these are beautiful looking creations using practical effects. I'm sure some CG's used here and there, but for the most part, it looks like it's all done with real people in suits or real technology, and that's impressive to see. Another testament to the story is just how silent these creations can be when they want to. It's established that they move at a snail's pace and weigh what looks to be a couple tons. Just whoosh, whoosh. Yet we have multiple moments in this film where the animatronic will be down a hallway, a character will walk through a door, and then scan and it's right there. How? Did it warp across the room? These things shake the ground like they're in a Jurassic Park movie. How are they getting over there? How are they sneaking up on anyone? There is another spot where one of the lead women is driving in the car and she hears a little boonk on the top. She looks up, there's a giant fox animatronic stabbing through the fucking top of the car. How did it get on top of the car? Can it super jump across the land? Because that's what it would have taken. I will give it one more compliment. The music in this is a banger. Just firing on all cylinders. I love the music in both Five Nights movies. They do a good job here. Again, ending is so abrupt and ridiculous and sets up another stupid movie that I can't imagine many people are leaving the theater going, wow, wowie, wow, fun. I get to go see another Five Nights movie and plop down another $15 for myself unless I take my family of 4. Then I'm spending like $80 once I get drinks and popcorn. This is worth it. No, just stay home and play the 7 or 8 or how many games there are in spin-off games. You'll be fine. Don't waste your money on this Drek. They can do better. They should do better. Long story short, I was not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I don't have any desire to watch number 3, but of course, because I hate myself and I need to bring you the content, I will watch it when it inevitably shits out into movie theaters. Let me know if you saw it, though, already, if you're more gun-ho now to see it because you're a true fan, and anything this curmudgeonly old idiot has to say is completely dismissed because he doesn't know the Chica lore. Put it in the comments. Think of subbing to the show Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Rumble. I'm everywhere at this point. And hopefully, I see you next time. Take care. Hey, thanks for watching the video and sticking around to the end. If you enjoy what I do here, maybe think of becoming a patron at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. It would be a perfect time to join too, because I'm having a 30% off Cyber Monday through wherever I decide to take it. Join right now and you get that awesome benefit like these folks over here. And again, if you strike while the iron's hot, the discount will be applied. All right, hopefully I see you next time. Take care.
On your left.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has now officially released in theaters, and with that, it is time for us to go into full spoilers on the movie. So that's exactly what I'll be doing here for you guys. I'll be giving you my spoiler review for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, diving into the things I thought the movie did right, while talking about some of the things I still think it needs to improve on with the next movie. Easter eggs, references, the ending, the post-credits scene, and even message in the credits. Heck, we'll even do a little bit of talking on how low the Rotten Tomatoes score and how the critics are just absolutely hating this movie. But it won't just be about my discussions. I want to hear from you guys, what you love, what you dislike, because I'm seeing even a good amount of fans who did come out also a little underwhelmed and disappointed with this movie. Are you still tapped in for that third film, or are you just like, nope, I'll just stick to the game lore? Love to hear it all down below. Okay, so getting into it here, just to reiterate some of my thoughts. I knew this movie was not going to be well liked, okay? It's pretty obvious when watching it, unless you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, this movie was just not going to be for you. And it was the thing I was wondering when going into this film. The first movie, I think there's some people who aren't aware of Five Nights at Freddy's, the lore, the games, the references, that maybe could have found some enjoyment with that first film. With this second movie, I don't see how that's possible without you knowing some background knowledge, having the homework, or having a built-in love for the series, because the movie fully leans in to being just for the fans. And I think that's why you're seeing that insanely low Rotten Tomatoes score, to where as of me recording it, it's at 15%, which I think is a little harsh. But that's what the score is going to look like when you only try to focus on servicing the fans and everyone else is just, sorry, don't know why you're watching this. But it feels like at the end of the day, these movies might also just be critic proof, that although they have these really low scores, the fan base still seems to be big enough and strong enough to sustain it, where I don't think Blumhouse cares about the bad reviews. I'm sure they're going to still consistently try to improve and tweak on where they can. But after this weekend, if it turns out to be as profitable as it's looking, with over a $50 million opening weekend, which would be awesome for the film, given that the budget is only around $35 million, they're not going to care if critics are poo-pooing it, as long as those fast heads are purchasing tickets. But okay, trying to look at the movie and find the good and the bad within it, I want to start off with the opening scene, because like I said, that is by far the best part of this movie. It peaked early for me. I really liked how before we even got to the Universal logo, you had William Afton at the little Showtime button announcing, "Are you ready to start the show?" 3, 2, like it's just great that they included that in there into the movie, and it set the tone very well. And also it was just nice to see the pizzeria filled with kids everywhere. We were hoping to see that in the first movie, but we only ever got glimpses of that with the employee training video that Mike had to watch. So this time around, seeing the pizzeria with a carousel, the river, kids having birthday parties, all that, like, I think that's just cool. But then that's where we meet Charlotte, who seems to be kind of a loner. She's not having a good time, but she's there for a birthday party with Vanessa as a child. But she's not interested in the cake or the birthday party. She's like, I'm waiting for the marionette. I'm connected to her. I love her. It's dialogue that, again, means something to the fans. To an outsider viewing in, you're just like, oh, this dialogue is just, I get it, she's connected to the animatronic. It was kind of rough to hear, especially the moments too where she starts seeing something go abrupt, the little kid being taken away by the yellow rabbit, and she goes to every adult like, help me, something's going on. The adults are talking. Away, sweetie. That kind of dialogue was crazy. I'd like to think if a random kid came up to me saying, help me, they're in danger, I wouldn't just shove my hand in their face and go, hey, how about you 6'7" over there, you brat? And what I also found interesting in that moment that like is really setting up the stage for this evil Vanessa arc is that Vanessa was trying to stop Charlotte. Vanessa was like, no, just let it happen, all right? My dad does what he does, and we get cake, Charlotte. Just let it be. That kid wasn't good anyway. He picks his boogers and eat-ups, all right? So he was gonna die eventually. Evolution. That's what it felt like. I thought it was crazy that Vanessa was like, just let that happen, all right? We're having a good time over here. But she doesn't, and she follows along. And this is where I was hoping it'd be a longer sequence of like her being chased by the yellow rabbit. Because again, that's the stuff I'm loving the most. It was my favorite sequence in the first movie when Matthew Lillard came out and was beating up Josh Hutcherson's character. But it ended up being pretty quick, and I did like the camera angle they did through the hallway, tilting it at an angle with Yellow Rabbit getting really close, and she falls on the stage, kid in hand, yelling everywhere, and I was like, all right, pretty crazy. I can't believe the Yellow Rabbit didn't get her. She falls forward, and you see 3 stabs to the back. Oh! I genuinely had my mouth to the ground. I said, oh, there's blood. A child's dead. William stabbed her. Ooh, that's crazy. That's okay. Good job. You're pushing it a little bit. And what a great shot, too, that when she falls through the trapdoor and the marionette is carrying her, symbolizing the bond that they will eventually form, leading into the title card. Yeah, the opening was pretty peak. Again, I still wish there was more Matthew Lillard, but that I thought was the best part of the whole movie. Now, when looking at the video game lore and how the movie is tackling it, pretty different. Because from what I understand, in the video game, the puppet / marionette is made to protect Charlotte. It's a creation by her father, Henry Emily, who, I don't know why the movie decided to do this. We don't know Skeet Ulrich is Henry Emily until the ending of the movie where he leaves Mike a little voice message. Huh? That's the kind of stuff that pisses critics off, because it's like, I'm new into this world. You're supposed to introduce me to these characters. You're supposed to flesh them out and reveal their importance. When you play out a movie and I'm just supposed to know through my outside knowledge of the film, it does take away, and that's why some people aren't enjoying it. Like, there was a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, I'm Henry Emily. I was once a partner of Matthew Lillard, and that's why my kid was always hanging around Freddy's, and she was a big fan of the marionette. I built it for her. Like, so much stuff they could have added on, but they really only gave Skeet Ulrich one scene with Josh Hutcherson. I found it kind of weird that they're like, oh, I'm Henry Emily. I was his partner, and it's coming for me. So I was underwhelmed with how the movie went about explaining that aspect. From there, though, we move on to Mike and the life he's living with his sister Abby. It looks like his aunt got committed for talking all this crazy nonsense about living animatronics. Pretty funny way to explain now why Mike has custody of his younger sister. But it's also these stories and tales that the aunt was telling that fueled the town to start having Faz Fest, this celebration of Five Nights at Freddy's, or I should just say Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where people who remember going there as a kid have like a little festival and whatnot. Honestly, that was another kind of disappointing or underwhelming part of the movie. Like, it's a looming thing that's being built up throughout the movie, and you're thinking with the toy animatronics being let loose on the town, maybe there'd be a bit of a massacre or at least a couple of people dying, but all in all, there not much happens at Faz Fest. I would have liked at least one kill or something crazy to go down in there, other than just Toy Freddy walking. But tonight, Mike has a date with Vanessa, and Abby at school is working on her robotics project, which this was an interesting part. I do think this will come into play later, and this is just something they're setting up for Abby, that she's going to be maybe a little tech savvy or be able to work on animatronics, and this is like the building blocks for that. She has a really stern teacher played by Wayne Knight, who, yeah, let's just face it, this guy was an a-hole, and I could not wait for Toy Chica to just pummel him. He was already being so rude to Abby, who was just trying to show an interest into the robotics class, but because she wasn't as good, he was afraid she would ruin their winning streak, and so whenever he dropped that toy at the fair, I was like, all right, let me at him. Let me get to him. You don't mess with little Abby, okay? She's the most innocent one of this movie. But that's what's going on right now in Abby's life. We then finally cut to Mike, who goes on the date with Vanessa, and you do start to think that maybe it's Mike trying to be romantic with Vanessa, start a relationship there, but it seemed to me like Mike is just more frustrated that he's giving Vanessa time to heal from the things that she went through in the first movie, but at the end of the day, he's like, all right, though, you need to tell me the full story about your dad, why he's a killer, how much do you know, are you aware about my brother Garrett? We had no Garrett updates in this movie. That surprised me. I thought we'd get a little bit more about his brother. Maybe that storyline's just done now. And as the movie goes on, Mike gets increasingly frustrated that Vanessa's holding back information. And yeah, Vanessa was starting to piss me off because it's like, how are you not telling us everything? It seems like you want to be the good guy and you don't like your dad, but at the same time, you're just as sneaky and evil. That's where I want to bring up some wild, crazy fan theories going around that I'm like, I don't even know if they're doing this, and if they do, I will laugh. At one point, we get a flashback scene, which is the other way Matthew Lillard gets involved in the movie, is through a flashback to her childhood, where she runs into the office of her father, sees blueprints, and we get a pretty giant Easter egg to the sister location animatronic that is usually built by William Afton for his daughter. We know in the game she gets scooped and gets killed and all this stuff. To me, I honestly don't know how to take that scene. Because one part of me is like, okay, that's just a little fun Easter egg, and the fans who know, and that means a lot to them. But then I'm also like, but will it mean more, or is it just gonna stay an Easter egg? Because like in the games, William Afton's daughter ends up getting scooped, killed by that same animatronic, and through Circus Baby killing Elizabeth Afton, she ends up becoming robotic. And there's literally people who have been theorizing since the first movie that Vanessa might actually be a robot this whole time. It got kind of debunked when she like bled a little bit in the first movie and was even in the hospital, where I'm pretty sure they'd be able to tell if she was a robot. But now this has refueled those theories that maybe young Vanessa did die as a kid and she's a robot as an adult. I kid you not, there were several people theorizing that online. I don't know if that's how far the lore will go, but okay, cool. A Circus Baby little Easter egg, that was awesome. I also do wonder if then that's the first time Vanessa has confronted her father, and maybe that's when he went into hiding, because we get a scene of her going upstairs, shooting her dad. He falls down the stairs, telling his daughter, "You'll always be mine." And remember how in the first movie, it just didn't feel right that like William Afton in the first film goes, "I always come back." And we're like, well, this is the first time we see you, Mr. Afton. Oh, we don't know if you've ever come back. Have you? And so maybe that was the moment where he appeared to be dead, appeared to be gone, but then he changed his name, stayed in the same town, working as a person who helped other people get jobs, and he came back. Okay. And so all that is happening with our main characters, and then we cut to a scene with these paranormal investigators led by McKenna Grace, where I honestly thought that scene was going to be the opening of the movie, and whenever it finally came into the movie, I was like, oh yeah, this guy has to be a thing. It's also funny because of the time period, you would assume they're like YouTubers or podcasters, but because it's like the early 2000s or 90s, they're just more a local channel on TV. But they were able to go to the original Five Nights at Freddy's thanks to a security guard who was working there so that they can film some footage for an episode. And this is where being in a room filled with Five Nights at Freddy's fans was just so apparent, because the minute this night security guard came onto the scene and told everybody, "Oh, you're Mike," and he's like, "Actually, call me Michael," with them evil eyebrows. You gotta do the evil eyebrow thing. The audience gasped. The audience was like, "Oh," and I was like, oh, You freaking nerds. Okay, I get who he is now. From that moment on, it was just like 1,000% obvious to every fan, okay, that's gonna be Michael Afton. And I'm shocked. I really thought Mike Schmidt was kind of our Michael Afton for this universe. Not again that he was gonna be related to William Afton, but because his name was Mike, he just kind of filled in that role. But no, we have a Michael Afton, and he kind of plays what William Afton did in the first movie. He shows up for a bit in the beginning and then won't show up again until the end. Another piece of advice for the writers and people making the movie: when you want to do a big reveal at the end of your film and like shock the audience, you can't just have a guy show up in the beginning and then show up again at the end and be like, it was me the whole time. That's not how like a mystery big reveal works. It's like, well, no, duh, dude. We haven't seen you the whole time. Of course you've been doing sneaky things and plucking them nice, scary eyebrows. Again, if you were a fan of the games, you knew immediately once he said his name was Michael,
Well, actually, if you were to just not reveal him too much later, then you complain about that, because you'd say some stuff like, oh, well, we never seen him. Well, this is our first time seeing him, so why didn't you show him Olio? They did. That's why they showed him Olio.
Everything that would be about him. If you knew nothing and were watching this movie, you're just like, the random scary guy turned out to be real life scary. Okay, that checks out. But here's also then where I start like getting a bit confused with what the movie was trying to tell, because they start exploring, and it was kind of cool. I'll give them props for the PG-13 kills. Mangle takes one kid, a bunch of little plushy marionettes kill another in the water, and you get to see some blood. And the possession stuff with the marionette and McKenna Grace, that took me by surprise. I know there was like that leaked photo online where people managed to actually see McKenna Grace on the monitor being possessed as the marionette. I did not think it was actually going to play like that in the movie, since that's not really something that happens in the games. But that ended up being one of the scariest aspects of the film, whether it was the marionette possessing McKenna Grace or Abby. Both of those looked actually pretty terrifying, and I do applaud them for that, because the marionette was pretty creepy. But as the film goes on, we kind of find out he needed to do this because his end goal is to finish what his father started, was letting these animatronics loose and I guess killing people. But really what ends up happening is more Charlotte takes over. I mean, you could say the real villain of the movie is Charlotte as the marionette, who is just trying to get revenge on all the kids who are now 20 years older that day that she died and nobody helped her. That's who the toy animatronics go after once they're let loose, but they can't go out yet because there's a perimeter lock on them and they're just stuck inside the pizzeria. The way they get out of this is Vanessa knows the code and they just need to type it in the computer so they can be let loose. How come Vanessa's the only one that knows the code? Wouldn't Michael Afton also know as a child of William Afton? That's kind of where I was like, why did you need Vanessa for this? Couldn't Michael just have given the codes and let them do what they do? I've seen already some fans speculate it's because William Afton does say in the flashback, "You're my favorite," so maybe he just let his little daughter know those secret codes, and so Michael wouldn't know it? I guess, who knows, but it is pretty funny that, like, Mike has to stay behind at the pizzeria trying to hack the computer. But even though it's only the early 2000s, they have full-on trackers and wireless signals that reach across town. It's stuff where you have to suspend your disbelief. That's where I think they were really having fun with the fans, where he talks about, like, how come there's not a door here? I can't believe there's not a door. He's basically playing the Five Nights at Freddy's game with the flashlight, looking around, and at one moment Shadow Bonnie appears. That again got a kind of a clap from my audience. Introducing the whole mechanic where you put a mask over the face. And it's another perfect example of, like, if you're a fan and you know that mechanic from the game you grew up playing, it's like, oh cool, they did it. If you don't, that honestly just looks ridiculous and dumb. Josh Hutcherson's just holding up a big old mask and these super advanced robots are like, yep, that checks out. This guy's clear, y'all. Except for Foxy. Foxy's got a glitch. So it's, again, stuff where it's like, I get why fans clap at that. I totally get why critics hated that. Focusing a little bit on the animatronics in general, though, the toy animatronics were fun to see. I mean, Toy Chica gets the most screen time out of all of them, so you know that made me a happy man. Megan Fox did do a fine job, and I thought there were a couple of funny lines with the way she was acting. Again, I was hoping MatPat's voice was just a little bit more recognizable, but no, I would have never guessed that was him. All this eventually leads to a big battle at Mike's house where they're going after Abby. I'm kind of glad they showed that scene with Abby getting possessed, not only because it was a pretty creepy effect, but it showed getting possessed by the marionette doesn't kill you, and they did have the whole music box thing that is from the games that keeps it away, which, again, if you're a fan, you know that reference and that connection from the game. You're like, oh, cool, they did the music box thing. If you're a critic watching this, you're like, oh, gee, the one item Skeet Ulrich gave Mike saying, hey, I made this music box. Can you give it to her? Wonder if that's gonna come in handy. And so it did. Which again just makes you wonder, you believe that much in your daughter and all that, how come you've never stepped foot in that pizzeria then, man? He did say he was a bad father, so I guess so that there's that reason. But this was also probably the funniest part of the movie, because everything is just going off, right? You got the toy animatronics, you got the Withered, Mike, Abby, Vanessa, all them are there. They're all gonna die. And the portals open like Avengers Endgame. Theme starts a-blaring, and you could just hear someone in the back of the theater yell, "We are FNAF!" I thought that was such a funny scene. The OG animatronics, the real friends of Abby from the first movie, come back in there, and then they just tear apart all the other ones, destroy them. It's a moment where it's like, dude, you're either on board with this franchise or you're not, and I totally get why fans would be like, kind of cringe, but also, give me a high five. I cannot wait till TikTokers get their hands on that footage, because it's going to be edited in memes so hard. And here's then, like, where the movie, I was like, look, this is slightly better than the first, only marginally, just because of how much they've added with the kills, the jump scares, and all these animatronics. But the frustration was gearing on, and then you start getting into the things they're setting up for the next movie, and I was really digging that. So, for one, because the OG animatronics use the last of their life force or battery, whatever you want to call it, to go and help Abby and destroy those animatronics, they are now gone, and they're no longer able to keep William Afton in the original pizzeria. And there is a moment that the ghost kid turns to Mike and says, hey, we can't hold him now. He's gonna be stronger than ever. And Mike's like, what are you talking about, man? And then he just disappears. Obviously meaning Springtrap. And I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like that as the setup for the next movie. It's like the OG animatronics were keeping him at bay this whole time. He was locked away at the pizzeria, but now there's no one left to stop him. Also wonder what they will do with Michael Afton, because like it didn't show that they killed him. At least I don't remember that they did. So he's just kind of still out there. Obviously we got to talk about the Vanessa thing, because Mike rightfully is like, because of you not telling us everything, we ended up in this mess. Stay away from me and my family. And the marionette decides to possess Vanessa. So curious what the implications of that for the next movie are. I kind of only see it going one way, but that's where I'll talk about the post-credit scene first. So then we get to the post-credit scene. It's the pizzeria from the first movie. A couple of guys have broken in because they want to do a haunted house for Five Nights at Freddy's, which is something that happens in the game. Sometimes the pizzeria is turned into a haunted house. Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. So it's already setting up things from the third movie in here. And they go to the back and they find Springtrap. They mention that he smells because William Afton's body's rotten inside him. And we get a glow of an eye, which is an Easter egg for fans. And now we are finally at the spot where I am going to get the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Inside him, and we get a glow of an eye, which is an Easter egg for fans. And now we are finally at the spot where I am going to get the Five Nights at Freddy's movie I have been waiting for. Because it really is just Matthew Lillard as William Afton that I am so excited to see. And now it looks with that third movie, it is going to be all about him. He's already been mentioning in interviews that it'll mainly about him and the Afton family. We'll be exploring that more. He's even talking about Skeet Ulrich being a big part of that third movie. And that would make sense with the message at the end of the film where he does reveal himself to be Henry Emily, his partner, worked on a lot of the animatronics. So we could get some flashback scenes of them together and finally having some scenes together because they didn't in this movie. And I think that'll probably end up being my favorite movie of the film if it's just William Afton. I don't even need more animatronics. You already did 3 different sets of animatronics in this movie. Just give me Springtrap and all Matthew Lillard holding a knife, going after and trying to kill some people. I will be most pleased with that. They probably won't, but hey, I'm not going to turn down any more animatronics. How I think the Vanessa thing will come into play is, well, at the end of the day, you got to remember, it's Charlotte taking over Vanessa. And who was responsible for Charlotte's death? Springtrap, William Afton. So although she might start off as an antagonist a little bit with Mike and Abby, she is going to want to help and fight against Springtrap and put an end to him. And also, since it's Vanessa's body, then that's a double reason to go after her father. So it's almost going to be like Vanessa and Charlotte working together to be able to defeat her dad. Again, I'm also hoping we get some closure for Mike and the Garrett storyline, because although we can kind of infer what happened to him and that he's gone, still feels like Mike is wanting closure on that since he hasn't really gotten that. I think Abby being an animatronic tinkerer would come back into play, since it was her OG friends that kind of went dead because their parts weren't good. They literally mentioned the Withered are there for spare parts. Abby, now knowing a little bit about how animatronics work, she could take those spare parts from the Withered, put them in her friends, and bring them back, and then be there for the big battle with Springtrap Marvel style. That's, again, though, someone who's very casual with the lore and knowledge. Some of you guys might go deeper and crazier, like telling me, no, Vanessa's a robot, bro. I got the proof. All right. Just give me Toy Chica, then. Unrelated, but I still need it. That's all I gotta say, though, about this movie. Like I said, though, I'm just excited for the movie they're building up towards. I can't be too mad about this movie not really reaching expectations, because fans are having a good time, man. You sit in that theater, and there's literally dozens on dozens of people clapping, cheering, having a good time. It's like, who am I to rain on that parade? But I also think fans shouldn't be so protective and argumentative about, like, oh, critics don't understand, because these movies are clearly being made with just the fans in mind, so it's gonna alienate those who aren't fans or knowledgeable in it. Let me know what you think about the movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always,
Boop. There we go.
Just seems like everybody hates it. Oh well.
Hey guys, Angry Joe here to tell you about something we use every day, and that is sleep comfort Helix. Check out my Glacio Tex pillow.
Every side of the pillow is a cool side of the pillow.
Oh, I love it. It is the best. Cool. When you're gaming as much as I do, and when you're staying up late and doing long editing sessions, you need to respawn very rested, and that's what I get with Helix Sleep, guys.
Never cheap out on stuff that goes up below you, right? So
check out Fam.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I saw the original Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, when it came out a few years ago. It was released in theaters and on Peacock the same day, and did very well. It's a simple story of like a Chuck E. Cheese type restaurant for kids that is closed down, could be haunted. Bad things happen there. There were some murders. And the Five Nights at Freddy Part 1 was fine. It was a PG-13 horror movie with some horrific things happening in it. If you saw it, it's kind of like I want to say kind of a safe horror film for kids. Matthew Lillard was a creepy character in the first one. He's back in this. The cast, same cast, is back for part 2. Josh Hutcherson plays Mike Schitt. Piper Rubio plays Abby, his sister. And they're trying to rebuild their lives after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Well, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place, same characters, but there's a different venue. A different venue where Freddy Fazbear venue that was the original venue that had other characters and a river that ran through the restaurant. And some horrible murders took place there. That place was ultimately shuttered. And this just leans in completely into ridiculousness. The automatronic robots are murder bots, basically. No explanation as to how they function. There's some code that must be entered to allow them to leave the premises so they're not cordoned off in a perimeter in the restaurant. And, Mike Schmidt somehow enters the code. So now the murder bots are leaving and terrorizing the city. I sat there thinking this utterly is ridiculous, makes no sense. While the first movie had a logic, this one goes off the effing rails into ridiculous. Now, to be clear, I have not played the game. Okay? I haven't played the game. But I was in a theater where there are about 30 kids who definitely had played the game because they all had popcorn buckets. They were cheering at things I had no clue what it was about, some little reference. And this movie, while the first one was made accessible to whoever, this movie is only for fans of the game. Clearly only for the fans, because it just didn't make sense. Why are they being controlled? What's going on? Is there some spiritual element? One of the humans just transforms for no reason. Why did that happen? Logic is out the window. The audience I saw it with didn't care. It's currently like 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it is, the critics hate this, and I hate to tell you, I'm going to join them. I did not like Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I just didn't like it. It's not for me. Never played the game, and I like the first one. However, it's not made for me. It's not made for critic, horror fan, whatever. It's made for fans of the game exclusively. So it really excludes anyone else. But I'll say this, the audience that saw it, the kids that were in the theater, that had the popcorn buckets, that were screaming at things what was that a reference to? They were all over this movie. They loved it. So who cares what I think? Don't listen to my review. I didn't like it. It's not for me. If you are a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, the game, you are going to love this movie. Go see it. And I overheard these kids, they wouldn't leave. They were in a group they were just like, and they were saying 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. They all loved it. I will say this. There were they want this to be a franchise. I have no idea how this will perform compared to the first one, which was an unexpected hit. But there's a post-credit, mid-credit, and something at the very, very, very end of the movie. Do not leave the theater. And they were going wild. It clearly sets up, a movie about the next game. So not for me. Can't recommend. If you're a fan of the game, 10 out of 10. If you're a regular horror fan, unfamiliar, this is kind of a very sanitized PG-13 horror movie that is, and I give them credit. They made it for the fans of the game. And they didn't like redesign the characters or why don't we throw this in? No, they literally translated precisely the designs of the characters from the game into the movie. They didn't change a color at all. Although there's so many logic things. Like, why don't the lights work? Just because something is closed down doesn't mean you can't turn on the lights. How do these things like have so much power that they can, these robots, these animatronics, they now are free to roam and kill? Why do they want to kill? What's the point? Anyways, ridiculous. And there you go.
Yeah. I hope the parents of those children vary their movie diet and take them to see Hamnet next.
They're not going to Hamnet. But I give Blumhouse credit. They here, what do the fans want? We're giving it to you.
Yeah.
So 10 out of 10 for fans and probably a 2 out of 10 for me.
I can tell you that this movie is not just about the game, but it's also about the community, the FNAF community.
Right.
Because I know my daughter at the first one, apparently there are FNAF YouTubers who appear.
Yeah, no. There are YouTubers that have, like, who played the game that have cameos because people screamed at, like, the guy who pulled up the taxi driver. You know, they were all screaming about that. So look, my review doesn't matter. If you're a fan of the game, go see it. You'll love it.
Hmm. 12.
This is my official review of the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my candid, raw thoughts on the movie. I'm not holding back. I'm putting it all out there. Also, I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see the movie, come back to this video. But until then, have a nice day, drive safe, see you later. Also, I've only ever done this on one other video on my channel ever, but if you want 5% off the new FNAF 2 movie wave of U2s, use code FNAF at checkout for 5% off. U2 sent me the Toy Bonnie one and the Balloon Boy one, and they look amazing. Balloon Boy's holding batteries because he steals your batteries out of your flashlight when he's in front of you. You get it? And the Matt Pat figure looks really amazing. Matt Pat looking better than ever. I know 5% isn't that big of a number, but if you're gonna buy them anyway, might as well use the code, might as well get the discount. So use code FNAF, 5% off your U2s, link in description. Okay, thanks for listening. Let's talk about the movie. Here we go. As you know, I saw this movie actually a couple weeks ago with Scott Cawthon in Orlando, Florida, and I went into this movie wanting it to be better than the first one. That is all I had in mind. I just wanted it to be a little bit better, even 1% better than the original, and I walked out of that theater more than happy with that movie. For the past couple weeks, I've been really trying to think on it and think, did I like it so much because I was with Scott, because I was with Daco and Matt Pat and all my friends, and the theater experience was amazing? Is that why I liked it so much? But now that I've seen it 3 times, I saw it last night, I'm seeing it for a 4th tomorrow, I really liked this movie. Like, it's so fun as a fan of this franchise, and that's the thing about this movie. It was absolutely made for the fans, and I know you've heard that so many times, and you look at the critic score and you're thinking, holy shit, 12% is crazy numbers for this movie. And as someone who has seen a decent amount of movies and isn't just like blinded by the nostalgia and by the lore and everything, I really took myself out of it and analyzed it as a movie. I'm genuinely shocked by the 12%. I was guessing maybe like a 55 or like a 60, like not too high, not too low for this one, but I will tell you why this movie is way less critically acclaimed than the last movie. Or at least this is why I think that the critics' rating is basically half of the first movie. The first movie had the benefit of setting up the world of Five Nights at Freddy's for the normies. For people who don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, the first movie was the setup of the world. There was a lot of teaching people what the world was about, what William Afton did, why the animatronics were possessed. And the first movie was still made for the fans. There was a lot of things that only the fans would notice, but the second movie is even more so made for the fans. While the first movie was an intro to the world, the second movie is literally knee-deep in the world. There is absolutely references and storylines and characters that no one in the normie world would understand if they didn't play the games or watch some theory videos. There's Easter eggs that are more blatant this time. They're not just little Easter eggs that are in the background of the first movie. These are blatant gameplay of FNAF 2. Why is this happening? A normie is thinking. Why is this mask making the animatronics think that he's an animatronic? Why didn't it work on Foxy? And there's another thing that I've been thinking about, is that the critics probably saw this movie in a theater with other critics, or just by themselves. They got a screener for it or something, and they didn't get that audience reaction. They didn't get to see it with fans. Maybe they did. Maybe these people were at the world premiere and still didn't like it, and they're still valid. But I really think that critic score is lower than the first, because the first movie was setting up the world, and the second movie is knee deep, and these critics are completely lost at this point. And us as fans, the Rotten Tomatoes is 88 or 89 right now for the fans, and that's because we understood it. Like, we knew the Easter eggs. We were freaking out when we saw freaking Circus Baby on our screen. We were freaking out when we saw the gameplay of FNAF 2. We were freaking out at the questions that were being answered about the lore that we've had for a decade now, or at least that was my experience. If you hated the movie, your opinion is valid as well, but I had a ton of fun with this movie. I knew from the first movie that these movies are camp. They are weird, and they are weird on purpose, and they embraced that weirdness in the best ways possible, in my opinion. Yes, the movie is not perfect. Yes, the script is not perfect. Yes, there are some moments that could have probably been touched up a little bit in the script. Yes, there were some plot holes that probably could have been patched up in the script, but I think another thing about this movie that it maybe suffered from, or maybe just was a victim of, is second movie in a trilogy syndrome. This movie ended with some cliffhangers. Like the movie ends and you can't believe the credits just rolled. They are really banking on this third movie being made, and I really hope it does get made. Now, to get in a little deeper with the movie, my favorite scene in the entire movie was the opening. I think the opening was the literal perfect opening. I wanted that to be the opening of the first movie, Afton luring the kids back and us seeing what happens with that, because the beauty of FNAF is the horror is implied in this franchise. A lot of the lore and the scariest moments of this franchise are seen off screen. When we play the games, we are almost seeing the aftermath of what William Afton did. And to actually see William Afton doing it in person in such a beautiful and perfect way, it was scary, it was tense, it was disturbing. When I saw the stab wounds on Charlie's back for the first time, I was like actually floored. I was like, are they allowed to do that in a PG-13 movie? I don't know if that's Weenie Hut Juniors for everyone else. It's like, John, of course they're allowed to do that. That's not crossing any line. To me, I was like, wow, like that's a kid. But I think they portrayed that in literally the best way they possibly could have. And Charlie falling through the door and the puppet lifting her up, I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it was almost like an improvement of the way we see Charlie die in the games. It was another way of doing Charlie's death in the movie, but the same things happen, if you know what I mean. William does kill her, and she does die right next to the puppet, but it's in the restaurant, and the puppet comes up from the stage rather than the puppet crawling out and laying next to her in the rain. Charlie is screaming for help, but no one's helping her in the games from the outside window. This time she's doing it from the inside, and no one's helping her. It was such a cool alternative way to show that scene being done, and I think that scene is like the whole premise of Five Nights at Freddy's in a nice 5-minute clip. That is showing the true horror of William Afton, setting it up right at the beginning of the movie, showing exactly why Charlie is so angry at all the adults throughout the whole movie. I thought Skeet Ulrich did an amazing job as Henry. Setting it up right at the beginning of the movie, showing exactly why Charlie is so angry at all the adults throughout the whole movie. I thought Skeet Ulrich did an amazing job as Henry. I would have loved to see him more. It was very obvious they're setting him up for more in the third movie. I know in the third movie we're gonna get the showdown between Henry and William. We're gonna get all the flashbacks and the lore reveals and stuff like that. I really think that's what they're setting up with the third movie, but Henry wasn't really in the marketing too much, so it kind of makes sense he wasn't in the movie too much. much. I would have loved to see him more, but I'm excited to see him in the third movie. I thought Freddie Carter as Michael Afton was amazing. Freddie Carter, he has a mad eyebrow, bro, and he has a great villain face and a great villain vibe. I don't know. I also didn't mind the reveal that he's Michael Afton. I thought it was pretty obvious from the moment that he showed up on screen. It's like, that guy is evil. His name is Michael. He's wearing a purple polo. He's wearing a security badge. That's Michael Afton. And I don't mind him carrying on his father's legacy. I don't mind him being evil. At the end of the day, he is like a victim of his father. But if he really did like carry on his legacy and he's been killing kids, he seems a little irredeemable at that point, just as much as his dad, but we'll have to see what happens in the third movie. But as far as the overall lore reveals in this movie, I was super satisfied 2 weeks ago. And now that I've seen it 3 times, I am still super satisfied with the answers. But what I'm trying to figure out is if I'm satisfied with the answers themselves or I'm satisfied that we got answers. So I'm currently working on a lore video with this movie, talking about all of the big lore reveals that we got in this movie, and I'm trying to really figure out what this movie was trying to tell us about the games. And you might be yelling at your screen right now, John, this movie isn't answering anything in the games, it's a separate continuity. And to that I say, you might be right, but I'm gonna try, and I think it'll be interesting to see how this movie lines up to the games and see if it actually helps answer anything from the games. But yeah, I enjoyed it even more watching it the third time with an audience last night on opening preview night, and it was just a great time. So I totally understand if you didn't vibe with the movie. I totally understand why the critics didn't vibe with the movie. 12% is crazy though, but whatever. Maybe for the next movie they can still make it for the fans, but find some balance between making it for the normies and for the fans. I mean, it's the third movie in a trilogy. Maybe it's a little too late for that. Might as well just fully make it for the fans again. But I really do think this movie is so much more improved from the original. I'm not just saying that. I'm being raw and honest with you. If you did see the movie, I hope you liked it. If you didn't like it, I hope you at least had fun watching it, because I know I did. I hope you had fun seeing the animatronics on screen and seeing the Easter eggs, and maybe the next movie will be more for you. I know they're gonna improve from the first and the second and really make the third movie the best they can make it. I enjoyed this movie as a fan who's been here from the very beginning. Definitely not a perfect movie. The first one was not a perfect movie. Definitely not for everyone, but me, myself, and I enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Hello, people of the internet, my name is Johnny, and welcome to my spoiler review of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. If you have not yet seen the movie, click off this video right now. We're going to be talking about full-on spoilers, the ending, the post-credit scenes, Easter eggs, secrets, all that juicy stuff. Yesterday, I posted my spoiler-free review, so if you've yet to see that, I'll leave it linked down below. And then also subscribe, because I still am going to have full-on dedicated videos talking about the ending and post-credits, what that means for FNAF 3, and then also breaking down every single Easter egg and secret in the movie, so subscribe, you don't want to miss out on those. So going in order of the events in the movie, let's start off by talking about the cold open, which was Charlie in the past. Full-on date reveal 1982. Charlie is at the FNAF 2 location, the original Freddy's, waiting for the marionette to emerge from underneath the stage. She sees William in the yellow rabbit costume luring a kid to the backstage area. So crazy that we like full-on predicted this, right? Charlie spotting William Afton, following him, Vanessa trying to stop her because she knows just how terrible of a person her father is, and just how tense this opening scene is. Charlie lurking around every corner, trying not to get caught by the yellow rabbit, saving the boy, and then being chased down that hallway as she's running in slow motion to the show stage. Oh my god. I was just on the edge of my seat, and then finally when it gets revealed that she was actually stabbed multiple times in the back by Afton, my jaw was just on the floor. And then speaking of the floor, the trapdoor gives out, Charlie falls down, with the puppet finally emerging from underneath the show stage holding Charlie's body, and then cutting to the opening credits. Just such a fantastic way to open up the movie, man. There's a few nitpicks here and there, like I think it's kind of unrealistic that no parent tried helping, and then also like, if William actually did attack Charlie, why would he let her then go to the show stage? So just a few nitpicks with this opening, but overall, it just really sets the mood for the movie. It is done so well. It was during this opening as well that you're hit immediately with a couple Easter eggs and secrets in this movie. 3
voyeuristic. So get yourself a good mattress. And look, if you're not ready to get a brand new mattress, they've got mattress toppers that can really get some life into your sleep.
Yeah, I have the topper, and it's so good because I am a hot sleeper, but it keeps me cool all night.
Tell you exactly which mattress comfort is best for you guys.
Best mattress.
Check it out at helixsleep.com/angryjoeshow. And right now it is a...
Fresh it because it's not the lip sync, is that?
So get yourself a good mattress. And look, if you're not ready to get a brand new mattress, they've got mattress toppers that can really
cool.
Is which one you guys. And partners say, if you want to fight now, the inevitable back from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the inevitable sequel to Blumhouse's first one, because the first one made money. And this obviously is a movie based on a video game franchise, one of the most popular video games, horror games, jump scare horror games that got a lot of YouTubers to do videos on, and became a franchise with its own lore, its own stories, multiple games. Scott, the creator, has actually, it's funny, in this sequel, Scott co-wrote the first film. Now he's taken over. He's writing the second film completely. And they said Matthew Lillard has stated that production crew had carefully listened to fan feedback from the first film and incorporated it into the sequel. And then Scott takes over. So you've got the original creator writing the thing. So everything's set up to be better, right?
What do you mean fan feedback, Joe?
Fan feedback. You're not a fan, so they don't pay attention.
But the fans told me that the first one was a masterpiece and was perfect. So what feedback could they possibly have had?
I love all of the comments you Five Nights at Freddy's fans left us on our first review. Because people were upset with us because we said that was a good film or a better film than we gave it credit for, because we didn't think it was very good. And it's funny because come full circle here, I go into a Reddit thread for this film and I find so many people shitting on not only this film but how bad the first one was. So it only took you, it takes you roughly 10 years to come around, or 2 years. 2 years was the first film. 10 years was when the first game came around.
We've been expecting you.
People were saying, "Oh no, the first film was faithful, very faithful to the game." I'm like, what are you talking about? Is this one faithful to the video games? No. Basically, what it does is it takes characters and names from the games, looks, the designs are actually of the games, but then rejiggers it and moves it around and repurposes some characters, changes other characters, and gives things different, and does things differently outside of the actual Five Nights at Freddy's lore, which after the first film I did my research on because everybody's yelling at me that I should have done research. I was like, nah, man, I'm going to review a film based on its own merits, based on whether it's scary, creates tension, has horror elements. And the first film didn't really do those things. So I was hoping the second film would up the ante. People have grown older along with the games. Did this get harder edge? Did they put more scares? Did they... we wanted a little bit of gore. We wanted a little bit of darkness. No, of course not. They need to be for children. And anybody that's saying, well, Joe, why would you make it for this film for, R-rated when children grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, I said, I don't know about you, but a lot of children have seen, Freddy Krueger and Jason, these R-rated movies that they shouldn't have seen, right? And so it would have been nice if they would have been scary as fuck. But I don't know. Maybe this is enough scares for 10-year-olds and 7-year-olds all the way up to 13-year-olds, I suppose. You'll have to tell us, but because this was awful. Awful. I wanted to come out in the review and say this was fucking stupid. The plot was stupid. It's a odd mix of horror and comedy. Only the comedy.
There was comedy?
Yeah.
Where?
Not a single time did I laugh at any of these jokes. Even the Five Nights at Freddy's fans behind us were talking the whole time. I said, "Stop talking. And they quieted down. I was pissed.
Because the movie made you mad.
But they brought costumes, they brought all this stuff, but they stopped talking. But they didn't laugh at any of the jokes where one of the animatronics would make a joke at the end of a kill, and the theater was dead silent. This is before I yelled at him, and it seemed to lack any energy in the theater, just like the film. The film lacked energy. It lacked scares. It lacked coherence. The plot is all over the place. Half of the time, the film just devolves into, okay, and now I'm going to explain the plot to you and then this thing happens. Oh my God, and now this thing is happening, and it is the dumbest shit. It really is. I think what they tried to do with the sequel is take these animatronics and say, hey, look, well, the trailer misleads you. The trailer's like, oh, you didn't know. It's not over. You see, there's original location. You was at a shitty location. You was at a spinoff. This the original.
As haunted as the other one.
The original is the real scary location, and then they show you those ghost hunters doing their thing and getting killed in the trailer. But then you go and you see the film, and half of the movie, maybe more than half of the movie, is not in the fucking location. Not in the original, not in the side location.
And that is why I was super disappointed.
They're like, what the hell's going on? The animatronics, they don't work outside of the actual Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria location. It just doesn't work. It looks goofy. It looks stupid. And half of the time we're doing the dream sequence. Vanessa returns, the cop from the first film, and she's having dream sequences with her daddy issues.
It was amazing.
It was shooting and scary doors are opening and closing. Oh my God! And
There's much more costume ideas that I really want now.
His previous roles from films. He's not scary. So when he's running down the hallway, Scooby-Doo, you got Shaggy chasing you. I'm like, this is dumb as hell. Now, eventually, it does get to the original location. They realize, oh shit, we are doing Five Nights at Freddy's. So why don't we give you a consolatory reward? Hey, we're even going to put you in the fucking room. You know, the room with the cameras and the computer, and you get to play the game. And at one point, the main character, the fucking, what is it? Mike is actually kind of doing the game. Only it is the dumbest shit. He could have just literally at one point the monsters are coming at him, and then later on we're like, how does he get out of this, right? Because in the video games, if the monsters jump scare you, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You don't fight back. You're dead. So when the monsters jump scare him, they have to leave behind. It's in the trailer, this mask, and they use this thing over and over. I guess maybe it's a video game item. I don't fucking know. I don't care. But how he gets out of this is apparently he just makes 2 or 3 clicks on the computer and goes to the next menu. And in the next menu is a shut off button. And he shuts them off. So what? Why didn't he go there first? Guys,
to build tension.
Look,
this is so stupid.
There are a couple good things here.
Yes.
Now we know. So at the first movie, we didn't know whose fault it was because it was co-written by somebody and someone else. And this one was solely written by someone who demanded sole control or he was going to leave. He told Blumhouse, if I don't get to have sole control, I leave.
For real?
Yeah. I was. And so now
Scott,
we know.
you lucked into your video game success, man.
And so
it's not working on the
this
screen.
shit sucked. I mean, look, it doesn't have scares or dialogue or coherent story, but it tries to make up for it by also being not very charming or good.
There's no heart to it.
There's no heart.
And at one point, the little kid, this sister character, she's
Abby.
crying, and the audience and the music is swelling, and she's crying for the animatronics, and I think the audience is supposed to feel sorry, and no.
Well, the acting level was also real rough from
Now,
everybody,
right? Everybody, but particularly her. Now, I don't think it's her fault. It's her. She's special needs. I think the character is supposed to be maybe on the spectrum or special needs.
I don't know, but it's
I don't
bad.
know. Yeah, it's and so it just doesn't. It doesn't evoke any emotions.
No.
Whatsoever.
It just doesn't work as a horror movie. And I get it. There's a lot of cameos, there's a lot of Easter eggs, and people will be excited when they see those things. And those are the people who are mad right now that are watching this going, hey, I really enjoyed these things. You're being reminded of something that made you happy when you were younger. You're being reminded of a better video game. When we're watching this movie on its own, the characters aren't good. The story's not good. The dialogue is laughable. There are no scares. There is no climax to this movie because this movie, its only purpose of this movie is to set up the third movie. Yep. There is no climax to this movie. It just kind of
ends.
It kind of peters on, and then they tease, and it's not even a tease. It's like, we're making another one, and then it just
I was shocked.
It's crazy how bad this is.
It just ends.
And I love video games. Like, they're a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I love video game IP. And I want better for all of you who love Five Nights at Freddy's. I want better movies for you. And if they were taking any sort of feedback after the first one, I think that's total horseshit. But after this second one, you have to hire a writer that knows how to write a fucking movie. Because this guy does not know how to write. He can put Easter eggs in. He knows exactly where to sprinkle them. He's like, oh, remember that one? That one's from the second game, and that one's from the... This UI is going to make people really happy. It's like, what about the fucking movie?
What about the characters?
There has to be a
what
movie.
About the dialogue?
It can't just be an empty vessel for, like, random cameos and Easter eggs. There has to be a fucking movie there. Otherwise, it fails as a fucking movie. And it failed as a movie.
The characters literally talk past each other. It is the most frustrating, tropey shit I have ever seen. He must have took classes from, I don't know, watching really bad horror films and then just injected them into the movie. At one point, his daughter is in danger. Vanessa, the cop, who has been established as a good character and cares about the daughter character, notices that the daughter character is in danger, but instead of warning Mike and talking to him and going to save the daughter character, they get into an argument. And Mike says, I gotta fix everything. I gotta fix you. And she goes, what'd you say to me, bitch?
Excuse me?
And then she fucking leaves. And the daughter character is still in danger. She could have literally just said, and she actually does try. She says, your daughter tried to go to the Five Nights at Freddy's location. He's like, I know. Just that level of writing where it's like, I don't want to hear it, or what, you don't want to hear it, but that character has only wanted to hear about the safety of his daughter for no apparent reason, and not triggered, it's not like she said, your dick is small and I hate your guts, and he goes, I don't want to hear it anymore. No, they're having a conversation, and then all of a sudden, these characters just, because it's written that way to force the next thing to happen, and it is so, I'm so tired of this weak writing. You just consider it as in filmmaking class, you have students, and you can put these students into 5 levels, and you got your good writers, you got your aliens and your Lord of the Rings, and that's level 5. And then you have level 1, which I don't know what movie to compare level 1 to.
Any Bowl movie.
Uwe Boll, yes, Uwe Boll, and his Dead or Alive and Far Cry and whatever video game adaptation he does. This level of writing is at that level. If maybe level 2 sometimes, because maybe he's getting help from people at Blumhouse, but you can tell that it just falls flat. And I'm reading here, we're going to put in more scares, more action. And I read that and I said, but there aren't. This is literally, the audience knows this video game is built on jump scares.
Yeah.
This is the one movie that you are allowed to jump scare the fuck out of the audience nonstop. And it never even really does that. When they reveal the animatronics, it's just full frame, not even shot in an interesting way, and it loses all scare.
Yeah, I think they fucked up with that as well, because I wanted more of the animatronics of jump scares, but what they did is just like with loud noises, or somebody just...
Loud noises.
Someone turns around and a person's just there, just standing there. I was like, that's not the jump scare we kind of wanted. We want the animatronics that we're here for that. Not the loud noises, bullshit happening.
A window getting punched out is like the loudest I have ever heard. I've watched movies where there's alien invasions and there's nuclear bombs going off, but somehow in this movie, a window being broken out is the loudest fucking thing. It's like, whatever. It's bad. And, okay, hold on. Let me see here. The first film, budget, $20 million. It made $300 million. So it was an obligatory sequel that was going to happen no matter what. And here's what we get. And I can't wait for the motherfuckers to put in my comment section how wrong they are about the film, how faithful it is, how scary it is, but to be fair, it was made for 13-year-olds or whatever-year-olds. You have no excuses. These games came out a long time ago. Those people are now adults. In fact, they probably now have children. So it is okay to make a darker, scarier film, push the envelope here and there. Yeah. It doesn't do any of that.
Or like you mentioned, or at least be as scary as the video game, because this is not even as close to as scary as the video game. No. If it had been an hour and a half of jump scares, I would have been more satisfied, because it was boring.
Yeah.
That's what we should have said. In the first 5 seconds of the review, I should have said, this is the most boring horror film I've seen in a long time. It is boring. Now, it's hard to say that because, they have the budget here. They increased the budget to $37 million from $20 million, so almost double. Right. The animatronics look good.
Yeah,
that's the
great.
only fucking thing. What I'm saying is boring horror films that I watched with Joe, when he brings, nothing happens.
Rabbit Grannies.
And then
Rabbit Grannies.
And then you have the monster in a trash bag in the forest at the end. These are Z-grade shit, right? Here, at least, the budget's there, and they're showing it. But
Ape versus Lizard, that one was good. That was high budget, right?
But it's all done in the worst way. Did you know Megan Fox is in this film?
Yes.
I had no idea Megan Fox was in this film. She's the voice of Toy Chica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the movie? Do you like it?
Matt Pat is in it. He's the voice of Toy Bonnie.
Oh, great.
He had a cameo appearance as the waiter. I kept thinking that maybe Markiplier would be in it, but I didn't see it. Is there any other YouTubers? There are cameos of people that I feel like I should the film feels like you should know who they are, but they're not. Like this one guy that goes, "You need a lawyer." Do you know who that is?
No. I only knew the Scream guys, Matthew Lillard.
The Scream guy
and Henry.
Skeet, who was also in Scream.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a cameo as well.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
Okay. I was just asking.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned before. It's all cameos and Easter eggs, but if you look at what the movie actually is, it's.
Yeah, I was very bored. A lot of it was just terrible acting, a lot of terrible writing. But the things I did like was going back to the original place. I wanted them to do more stuff with that. I was very disappointed because what you see in the trailer for the ghost stuff, that's it. You were there for maybe 5 minutes and then we move past that. I'm like, well, that sucks because I want the mystery and what's going on this aspect. The marionette was the best thing for me.
So that's what I want to say.
Yeah,
the effect of the marionette, cool. And I don't know if I do know because I looked it up. Is this a character from the games? Yeah, no, yes, it is in the games, but not in this exact way. So they take the character and then they change it.
Yeah, I like that, and that was some cool stuff that they could have done with it. But other than the cool stuff that I liked, was probably less than 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes,
everything else as soon as we
basically everything with the yellow eyes and the possession of the marionette was cool as fuck.
We get ghost Wi-Fi. I'm like, okay, this is fucking dumb.
Ghost Wi-Fi.
This is fucking dumb.
Ghost Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And
I'm not lying.
Guys, the ghost Wi-Fi can be turned off with a button from a computer. The ghost supernatural ghost Wi-Fi can be turned off if you go to the computer navigation menu that says turn off ghost Wi-Fi.
But it only works for 30 seconds here because the ghost just turns it back on.
Signal rerouted.
Yeah.
It's set on the screen, Alex.
Ghost rerouting.
Rerouted, which means it needs the computer system in order to complete ghost Wi-Fi. When supernatural stuff is scarier when it's supernatural and it happens because of a trauma and that's here, but it's dumb and it's contained and it's fucking
a Windows PC working
restricted.
after like 7 years without updates is supernatural.
It is supernatural. This whole movie wouldn't work if people would just go into the location, tear this shit down. Who is supplying power? Why are there puppets and candies left all around here? This is really expensive technology and nobody decides to loot it. It's open to the public to just go in there. Homeless people would have ate the orange candy. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
I actually had a little bit of hope for this one because I thought what they were going to do, because I read that the writer from the first one, he's like, no, I want to do it my way. We're going to go back to the original location. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. We're going to do this thing where a bunch of ghost hustlers are going to go in there and then get torn to shreds, which sounds awesome to me. And we're going to have scary enough and jump scares in there. But like he said, that's like 5 minutes of this movie, and most of the time they're walking
done in the
around,
dumbest way.
and it's done in the dumb. And there's like they present this situation. There's this little canal that they in the restaurant, and it's like 2.5 feet deep, and twice someone falls in, and they act like
and no one exits,
and they just stay in the water. And there's like all this opportunity, and it's not it's not super deep, and they can just immediately just like crawl out.
I don't know if you fall into. I don't know about you. Do you fall in water that has been stale and sitting there for months?
I'm jumping out.
You're getting out immediately.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You don't just sit there.
A guy was in there
waiting
for like 10
in the
minutes.
water.
Walking around.
And then our main character, Mike, who falls in, they present the situation because something's coming for him in the water, and they're trying to present it as tension, but like it just looks so dumb because he's in like thigh-high water. He can just immediately crawl out.
This cannot be a game. And these little piranha fucking marionettes. It's stupid, and I don't think it's in the game, but whatever. It was dumb.
It's probably
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably not gonna be into.
That's the kind of intelligence these characters in the story and the writing has to exhibit in order for any of this to work. You force these situations to inject something into the film. And the something that you're injecting is worse than the video games. It's less scary, and it's not even satisfying. The greatest time I had was the effect of the marionette, right? Possession. That was cool. I want a whole movie of that. But no, instead we don't get that. You know, I like anytime little kids are laughing, that shit is scary. Especially when it's echoing, it's scary. And then the other part of the film that I had fun with, so I'll give it 2 things, is fucking Newman. Fucking Newman. And of course they had to make him such a caricature of a fucking science teacher who's an asshole in order to make this work. But you do want to see Newman get his comeuppings. And because this film is bloodless, and because this film is so tame,
there was a little bit of blood. Someone's in the side.
Yeah.
Someone took the water spray bottle.
They sprayed it.
Come on, man.
Come
on, man. You love this film. You're just saying that because you were reminded of the characters from the first film, and you're reminded of the video games. But the thing is, the video games, I've actually looked up the video game lore. It is far more fascinating and complex and interesting and mysterious and supernatural than this is. All you had to fucking do, Scott, is do that. Do that shit. Or go super simplification. You remember the movies in the 80s and the 90s and the fucking slasher films are just, you get a hot chick and you get a dude and then you throw him into a cabin and then you just attack him. And shit is crazy. And that plot is so simple. Here all you had to do was lock people into the Five Nights at Freddy's location, have a bunch of jump scares, and get bloody with it. Put a fucking party in there. 17 adults cults are having a party or whatever, and people are getting systematically butchered and killed while
Marionette
the story,
is controlling
the
them.
marionette it would have been legendary. And you put some artistry,
You get
maybe
Nick Cage, and he's humping a pinball machine. It's like, oh, they already did that movie, and it was better than both of these.
Willy's Wonderland or something like that. It is still a far better Five Nights at Freddy's films than the actual Five Nights at Freddy's films now written by the creator. It doesn't make any sense, because at least there was some style there, and they went for a little bit of comedy. They went for a little bit of surrealness. If you injected some Evil Dead, some Sam Raimi into this shit, then you'd be talking, and you'd have some creativity and some interesting and some provocativeness. This is the most generic, by-the-numbers, Blumhouse conveyor belt sequel, because the first one automatically made money.
So it's only going to make 125 million this time.
This makes the Mario Brothers movie look like a masterpiece to me.
Joe, that movie was already a masterpiece.
I was gonna say Super Mario the movie.
The original?
Okay, so this was
makes that look
it is possible that some people consider this a horror comedy, but I don't. No one in the movie theater laughed a single time. Even the people that were there to see this movie to have a good time
in costume.
No one was laughing. There was no. So maybe you just failed at making a comedy, and you also forgot the horror. But I don't know.
Awful. One of the worst video game adaptations I have seen. So, if you just want pure visuals that the fucking Master Chief looks like Master Chief, then you would be bare minimum you're satisfied. You probably enjoyed the entire Halo Paramount season then as well. So let's go ahead and let's give it a final verdict.
I was very disappointed with this movie because with the trailer.
Keep in mind, Joe, before you give the rating, that the original rating that I'm sorry, I don't know your rating, but the rating that we gave the first was a 3 out of 10, and everybody got mad at us.
Yeah, I was very disappointed because the trailer made it seem like this was going to be a better movie, and what I wanted was like that ghost stuff, back to the original, back to the roots, see what's going on, the marionette kind of controlling everything. We would have gotten some cool scares or something, but as soon as we left that, it wasn't very scary. The dialogue between these characters are pretty dumb. A lot of it is like, I get that you have to do like horror, like why would you do that stuff, but they did that too much. Of like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? Especially when you're putting your daughter, your
sister at risk. I keep thinking it's his daughter too, but the ages are all wrong. And I guess this actress has grown up too.
Yeah.
I just don't know what she's going for. If it's supposed to be that, she's a vulnerable child that I don't know, because she does the dumbest things and she gets tricked all the time. So I guess she's supposed to be on the spectrum, and it just sucks to see. They don't do anything with it. It makes the actress herself look like she's putting in a bad performance. But that's not just her. I mean, Pita from whatever the fucking Hunger Games or whatever he's from. Is he even in this? Like, does he even try? Is he
it's
getting
mainly
a
about
paycheck?
Vanessa because this is Vanessa's dad. So, yeah, the flashbacks with Vanessa's dad weren't very scary. The best thing was Marionette. I wanted to see more of that, but like after this movie, I don't want to see the third one.
You're done.
Yeah. Again, I'm not a fan of Five Nights, so
you weren't done after the first film. You were like, well, maybe they'll make it better.
Well, yeah, that's why I gave this one. It's like, okay, well, maybe they learned because the trailer made it look good. But the best scenes in the trailer is like 5 minutes of the movie. I'm like, well, what do we do for the rest of the time? Nothing. Fucking nothing. So again, I'm at a 3.
You are even factoring in that ending, Joe, that it literally does not have an ending. It just says, see you next time.
It's a cliffhanger.
I think it doesn't say see you next time, but it might as well.
Yeah.
I think that this can't even. This is not an average horror movie. This is well below that. I mean, it's not a good story. It's not scary. I don't think it does justice to the games. And so it's like, where were they successful? They presented a couple cool situations where we go back to the original. In my opinion, they didn't do anything with it. They set up a situation where we have a new Freddy, kind of evil Freddy. Then he's at this big carnival type thing where all these fans. Nothing happens.
I forgot about that. That's
nothing
right.
happens.
They're there for half a second.
I don't mean like
and
a little bit happens, and I'm just saying nothing happens. He interacts with one person in a costume who's like, "Your costume looks fake, but you're cool.
You're gonna win."
And then he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go kill some adults," but you don't see anything. And so it's like they cut that entire portion of the movie out. They have this. There's the potential of maybe these guys are gonna go somewhere and do something crazy outside, and we're gonna get this kind of fish out of water situation. None of it. Nothing happens.
No.
It's boring.
And so it's
cops are like, "Oh my god, look at the animatronic."
Nope, nothing. No one notices them at all, other than 4 adults and a guy who's like, "Looks like you need a lawyer," and I'm supposed to clap because I recognize him from YouTube.
Is that a person from YouTube?
I don't fucking know. But like, is that what I'm supposed to do? If I played every, I was supposed to go like, "Love that guy."
Yeah.
So glad that guy's here.
We found a real one.
I have no idea.
Is that from the games?
Yeah, I don't know. I know this is supposed to be for the fans, and I know the fans are mad at us, and they're typing now, and it's just like, look, you'll love anything because it's...
I think the fans agree with us this time, and they're starting to realize, you know what?
It
Alex
should
is
be better.
rough on things, but it's because, you know, he could recognize these things.
I love...
And eventually, I've come around, and I realized, yeah, you know, it was not that good.
Yeah, I hope so.
I was young and dumb.
And look, I just can, as an unk, an old fucker that's been playing video games probably longer than you've been alive, dude, I love video games more than you. I love books. I love all this nerd shit. It is my life, and I hate when people take the things that I love and they do a terrible fucking job. And look, it's just this guy's game. He can shit on it if he wants, but I'm still gonna look at it and go, "Hey, man, you're not doing a very good job with this one.
You made this one worse.
You made it worse than the base game. It's worse somehow than the first movie." And so I don't think it's too like yes it is. I got to, like maybe I just don't care enough because my expectations were and so I think it's like my gut feeling was a 3.
Okay.
So like Joe, I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay. It's just a shame that Alex has to care to get to the 2 territory. I don't have to care to get to the 2 territory. I can recognize a 2 without getting mad at it because, like Alex, I don't give a fuck. But I did not like this film as much as the first one, and the first one was already failing. And yeah, it might get a few things better, like the marionette part is creepier to look at and hear than than anything in the first film. But when you do something like that that's good, and then you absolutely do nothing with it and drop it,
Ghost Weefy.
It makes me more. It makes me more upset. Like why it feels worse, honestly. And we have, you know, I mean, the best thing you can look forward to. I guess I don't want to do any spoilers, but no, I'll just leave. Just you don't. It's just. Forget it. It's a 2. It's a 2 out of 10.
That's right.
Okay, we'll talk. I'll tell you what I was going to talk about in the spoilers. The thing you can look forward to. But let me say right now that the thing you can look forward to is disappointing. On screen, when you think about it, wow, that would be a cool scenario. What if this and this and then that? And then when you see it on screen, you're like, that's it? Oh. Well, what's next? I don't give a shit what's next. I don't care. You know, they make a tease at the end of this film that... I don't want to spoil. All right. They literally say what's going to happen in the third film is this. And you better be ready.
I'm not ready.
There's 2 major teases at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to those in the spoiler section, but it's awful and it's not a good film. It's not a good video game. When I go into these, I'm like, okay, where's this going to rank? You know, is it like Sonic? Is it like Halo? Is it
Mortal Kombat? Street Fighter.
And if you're going to stink it up, then at least do it like a Street Fighter where it's like it's good bad.
At least Raul Julia tried.
Yeah, right? Raul Julia.
He carries that whole movie.
For you, it was for me. It was a Tuesday. You know, that's fun. This is neither fun, nor scary, nor horror, nor... It is just slop. We know that by default, this will make $100 million on name alone. So your budget is now 40 instead of 20. And I just hope this doesn't make money.
It will.
I hope that, word is spread amongst the Five Nights at Freddy's community that said, this is not very good. And it's worse than the first film. I don't care. I'm not going to support it. Because if this makes more money, than the first film, I don't
think it's going to make more than the first.
No, I don't think it's going to make a fuckload of money.
Probably, as you think the 300 million that the first one
I'm thinking
made?
125, 150, which is a huge drop off from the first.
Which is a huge drop.
But that's still a ton of money.
But that's still enough to make the third, and I guarantee you they're making the third. It wouldn't have mattered if this film came out and barely played and functioned. They were going to make the third film no matter what. It feels like. Well, we shall see if that happens, and if it does, we'll be here with a fucking hammer and ready to by then you will have completed your arc, and you will be with us sitting in the theater by that third film.
It's not very
we will have converted you.
It's not very good.
So that's it for the review. Come join us in the spoiler section so you can see exactly why this one sucks, and the unfulfilled potential of the marionette and the puppeteer or whatever they call it. Okay, see you there. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. I'm gonna get right to the end, what I was talking about, where they fucking tease. So the whole film, in the first part of the film, is dealing with the trauma of the first film. You have the brother and the sister living together, and then the brother is dating Vanessa now because they went through this big ordeal.
Are they?
Oh, this lasts for 40 fucking minutes. Will they, won't they? Do I trust her? I don't trust her. It's so stupid. And then in the climax of the film, they dare to, after all of she's done, he's like, I don't trust you, stay away from me. And then the film ends. And it's like, oh my, but she actually probably deserves it, because when his sister was in danger, she's like, I'm leaving. She does say something like, the only thing you should worry about is taking care of your sister. And then she leaves.
And she didn't tell Mike about her brother Michael.
There's a secret brother.
She did legitimately not tell him. So he has a reason not to trust her, but it is the dumbest fucking shit ever. This film has the first location wasn't the real location. This was the real location the whole time. Oh, you thought that the family was just the crazy Matthew Lillard and his crazy daughter who is now a cop and has to fight him? No, there was a long-lost son character somewhere, and he just shows up in the beginning of the film as a security guard to kill the kids that walk in, the ghost hunters that get killed in the trailer. And then at the end of the film, he shows up and he goes, ha-ha! I am your long-lost brother. I'm like, are we really doing this?
It's like a soap opera.
Were we really?
What? I thought you were 10.
Long-lost brother. Maria, ¿por qué? It's like, God damn it! I'd rather watch the Maria, ¿por qué? And so he comes in there. And it turns out this time, the robots are not possessed by Matthew Lillard, and they're not possessed by ghost children. This time, they're possessed by a ghost girl.
Wi-Fi.
It's a little girl.
The first victim.
The first victim of Matthew Lillard's character. That this little girl noticed that this kid is being taken into the back. So she tries to go to all the adults. The old adults, adults are talking here. Not now. Not now. She's like, a kid is literally being...
That's the 80s, man.
I hated it. And so she ran it. So I thought it would have led to something more interesting, like a Freddy Krueger situation, where it's like all the parents in this town were fucking assholes, and they were purposefully killing kids in a fucking demon cult, whatever you need to do to make them culpable or something.
I thought it was going to be something
interesting.
sweet.
But no, they're just... literal asshole, ignorant, over the top character saying, "Get out of my face." So she goes there, rescues the kid, and as she exits, the Matthew Lillard stabs her 3 times, but she exits the curtain, and all the kids and the parents are looking at her like, "What are you doing on the stage?" And then she falls, and there's knives.
Yelling.
And then the marionette, because we'd never seen the marionette character in the game. I think it is actually in the lore later on, and it's essential in there. And then, but it shows up in this film, and it brings her up, and it's a scary image.
She dies in its arms, and it's ruled an accident because what happened is she went into a restricted area.
Oh my God.
And she fell on a kitchen knife 6 times.
She fell backwards onto a knife. Then she got up and went, "Ow!" Oh God, that hurt. Ow!
Because like 4 stab wounds. It's a lot of stab wounds.
I'm like, I hate you, Scott. You don't know what is this. It makes me so angry. So then so it was ruled an accident, but simultaneously the location is shut down anyway because these locations have to be shut down because they can't have kids in them and pizza in them. The chaos can't unfold why? That would be more interesting. But okay, fine. It's an abandoned location now, and instead, she goes, "Ah!" She screams at all the parents, and she blames the parents instead of the Matthew Lillard character who stabbed her.
And we find out there that her friend was Vanessa.
Vanessa was her friend, and Vanessa actually trapped her because she had a music box that puts her to sleep forever. And this is super important for 30 seconds of this movie. It's like super important.
Yeah.
And so that's
out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they go to a father's house, and he tells the story of why they shouldn't have a festival dedicated to Five Nights at Freddy's because it killed his son, or it killed my daughter. And then he's like, "Yeah, you're right." And then as he's leaving, he's like, "I'm gonna go figure things out." And as he's leaving,
"Before you go,
will you take this music box?" And
it puts her to sleep.
It's literally giving the character a Deus Ex Machina, giving them a MacGuffin, essentially. And he takes the MacGuffin, he says, "Okay." And then you're wondering, well, why didn't you take the MacGuffin to the location yourself?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
There's no reason.
But the original music box got broken by the Ghost Hunter people, and so now, or no, actually, this Michael, the evil brother, let her out with that. And so there's one scene in the movie where out of nowhere there's a new possession with the marionette is now in the what's her name, Mike's little sister, and he opens the music box for like 1 second, and then
and puts her to sleep,
and makes her go to sleep, but then he closes it, leaving the evil spirit poltergeist free to roam everywhere, which comes important in...
Oh, you're supposed to keep it going the whole time?
Yeah.
I thought you just do it once.
No, you have to be playing at all times.
That's why
to keep
whenever
her
she
asleep.
walked in, she's like, "You guys hear that music?" Because it was playing nonstop.
Yeah, and if you... Because the second he closes the box, she wakes back up and takes control over Vanessa, teasing the third movie.
But that was the coolest part, is this puppet that possesses. When it possesses a person, they go wide eyes, they give it clown makeup, and they go
yeah.
And that is creepy.
Yeah.
And it got super creepy when it turned into his little sister, because that little sister, her performance is really good, which then has me believing she was directed to act that way.
Yeah.
Because when she acts like this monster, it's cool and it's scary.
Now, the end of this movie, there's actually some cool things that they present that they don't do anything with that maybe they'll do in the third.
Like what?
So at one point, Mike realizes that he's outgunned. There's all of these evil animatronics controlled by the marionette himself, and so he goes to the franchise location and he's like, "Look, we haven't seen you ghost kids in a long time, but
we need you in the movie.
My sister's gonna die. I need your help." But he hears nothing, so he leaves. But then they show up and they save the day. But then one of the little ghost kids are like, "Hey, we've been holding him back, but now that we're going to heaven and we're gonna be gone, he's coming. Be ready." So it's like,
wait, why didn't you go to heaven the first time you got killed?
Because they were stuck in the the place.
They were just sitting there
They
and
were
they were
just
like,
there.
Yeah. Right, because we do see the animatronics sitting in a corner at the he captured the original animatronic. They're now called prototypes for some reason, even though if it's the original location, wouldn't the
So there's 3 sets of animatronics in this. So the ones we saw at the very end, we had never seen in the movie before. Yeah, and so but it's like Matthew Lillard's coming back as a poltergeist. It's like I do want to see Matthew Lillard come back as a poltergeist and tear kids in half.
No,
except for these are rated PG, and it's not going to happen.
He's the yellow bunny or whatever. And at the end, that's the scene at the credits where they're like, "Oh, we found a real one," and they cover it up with a tarp, and they're going to take it to a Halloween party. But as they leave the room, because the kid gets creeped out, the eyeball starts to glow, and it's Matthew Lillard's original character.
Yeah, so his spirit is going to go on a killing spree. In the next one, Vanessa is now possessed by, what's her friend's name? The little girl that died. The evil little girl marionette is now possessed.
Charlotte.
And her mystery secret brother, who's been evil the whole time,
took off.
Is now continuing to be evil. He wants to take up the... So it's like now...
He didn't take off. He took off, but then he got clotheslined.
Yeah,
but then his body disappeared.
Yeah,
so he took off.
His badge is on the floor, Joe. So he's gone.
Oh my god!
So now we have 3 evil family members.
You're not going anywhere.
This big
man
he
said, "You're not going anywhere."
Clotheslines him, and he goes, "Where do you think you're going?" Even though he has no knowledge of what's happening in the house.
He's also dressed as a cop.
Yes. And he's dressed as a cop, and you just assault him. It's just written there because it has to be that way, and you have to give, the best friend. Shut the fuck up. And so you're telling me this big man is like, where the fuck are you going?
And
then, okay, just look at me.
Oh, that guy runs fast.
Wait. You ready? What? Why are you putting... You're just going to leave that behind?
Yep.
For somebody to find. So he literally watches one of the villains get up and take his badge off and put it on the ground to do a spooky
But he doesn't know
reveal.
he's a villain, Joe. But I don't know why he closed on him in the first place. It's just, it happens because the guy was like in a crayon, like.
A lot of things happens just to.
Yeah.
And then, and this is all the funny jokes when the crazy he thinks his best friend is involved with some crazy chick. He goes, Vanessa has crazy eyes, man. And then the audience is supposed to laugh. And
no, he's supposed to be like, PETA, you will never do better than her ever. Do not fuck this up.
She really doesn't have crazy eyes, so it's not even a funny joke. And then she's running in she runs out of gas, so she can't help the little sister character, and it just so happens that he drives by.
Why?
And he goes,
What was
you need
he
a
doing?
Ride? Again, bad riding
What
and
was he
stupid
even doing
convenience.
at that time?
He's cruising.
He's like, get in the car, and then so he gets in the car, and then she's like, take me to Mike's house.
No,
He's like, okay, so he takes her to Mike's house, and then she runs out. Crazy eyes. What? But and the audience is supposed to laugh, and nobody did because it's not funny. It doesn't make sense, and it.
Yeah,
doesn't ask any questions.
This is what we'd be telling you about our favorite scary parts of the movie, or because it's a horror movie, and
but there are
none. There are no.
So eventually, after all this, will they? Won't they? Dinner time, date time. They're like, oh yeah, we have to do something with scares. So they get on the random TV was playing some ghost show, and her brother goes, don't watch that, it'll give you nightmares. I'm like, no, it doesn't. The show looks fucking stupid. So then it turns out these
Ghost Adventures are amazing.
These Ghost Adventures people come out and they go, oh, well, we have a security guard who let us into the original location. And so they go into the original location, but it's weird. Are they just like scoping it out first, or are they doing the episode?
They're doing the episode.
The guy is in their camera, but she's not doing her bit. You would think that she would do her bit. Look at this, and you got this, but no. She goes. At one point, she's just like, I hear something, and do y'all hear that? And they go, no. And then she goes, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here alone. You guys do whatever, and I'm gonna go over here. And it's like, but that's just horror trope shit. You are the host of the show. The show is happening, and you're saying going over here. And then the security guard's like, well, why is she going? And then the tape guy's like, hurry up! I'm burning tape. It's like, so you Okay, so you just want B-roll?
Michael,
Just shots
Michael was gonna say, "Oh, this is."
Oh, he's the tour guide. He's going to take over the whole fucking show. Okay, fine. To see the writing, it's like nobody puts any thought into this shit. They just needed them in different locations so you can have the scary reveals, so you can have the music box, and then the possession.
That's what they should have spent more time in that area with them.
That would have been awesome.
Everybody separates. If that was the whole film, that would be awesome. And then another group comes, and then they get
It's like, all right, we'll stop
possessed.
filming. Let's take a little break, and then they're just chilling. It's like, oh, what's that
There
noise?
was a better film here,
Yes,
and
it could have been.
it's so far. It's like it's fucking a flight to Australia from here. You know, it's you could see it maybe on TV or bits of it.
He's just getting yanked. But I want.
But
that.
I
No,
want to go
want this
there.
one. Yeah, I want to go see
And
that.
instead, we get this dumbest shit. Okay, so this lasts for 5 seconds, and mercifully so, because one of the guys who just randomly goes off, and I guess the sound guy goes, "Whoa, there's a river ride here," and I said that too because it's like, wait, so it's a pizza palace, but with a river ride. Damn, the logistics of this is crazy. But there's a river ride, and he slips and falls in, and he doesn't. And he could just lift himself out easily.
Some people can.
With
The pool,
one.
like,
no,
It's not deep like a pool.
It's literally up to his waist, and he just stays in there going, "Oh, I'm gonna wait around for the next five minutes."
He has all sorts of like mosquito larvae and little wormy things crawling in his booty hole and stuff because that water's filthy. And he's like, I'm gonna sit in here for 10 minutes.
And he's got it all over his face, and he doesn't exit. And so he just walks around in the water, and then he hears he hears things jumping into the water. And it turns out it was all the little marionettes. These little marionette piranha turn into piranhas and move towards him. And then that's probably the most blood we see in the whole film
we get red water.
because it's blood underwater, and the SRB is no, that was rust. You can make it up, you know, because there's the most blood there's been. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do something interesting because like none of the little marionettes are animatronic. They're like little stuffed plastic dolls, and so it's like, holy shit, the marionette is really powerful. Cool. Did nothing with it. No. The entire fucking movie.
Right. And
she's
going
so
back
powerful.
to those little marionettes, they could do something creative with their mouths open and they're like little sharp teeth. But it doesn't do that. You just look at them in the water and then they start moving, and then the water and nothing. You don't know what happens. There's no connection.
Yeah.
You have to fill in the gap yourself.
You fill in the gap.
Yeah.
You make your own movie.
All right, how the camera guy die?
The camera guy, it's Michael, the security guard, like turns around, and you see up top.
You can see his hand. His severed hand gets dropped and a foot. But there's no blood. It's like
he gets pulled up.
He gets pulled up and killed off screen. And then we get these animatronics later on. The fox runs light speed, and he catches up to Vanessa, who left in her car.
A car.
And then so he's on top of the car, and there's like he does the on top of car thing.
Slams in the window. It's a nuclear blast in the theater.
Freddy goes to this big carnival with all of these people, and not a single person dies or is afraid of him. And it's just absolutely wasted screen time.
The Chica or something goes to the fair.
Chica goes to the science fair and
the mean old teacher who keeps shitting on the robotics that the daughter character makes for no reason.
Yeah, and so she squeezes his head, but again off camera because you're not allowed to see blood. And
I think that's it.
Well, the bunny shows up somewhere and then gets hit by a car. And
the
then that's
bunny?
it. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, so then but the whole purpose was to bring the daughter character to the original location so she can enter at the same time capture Vanessa. So the marionette captures Vanessa and is choking Vanessa out in a corner, and she says, "Give the daughter character the code."
Because
they
couldn't walk out.
There is a literal code.
Her ghost Wi-Fi is limited by the code.
Why? Who developed this program that limits the ghost Wi-Fi?
How do you even tap into ghost Wi-Fi?
I don't know, but somebody did it and they made it into a computer program.
So it is incredibly stupid, but I would kind of allow it. I wouldn't hate it as much as it did if they set it up as this big thing and she immediately reroutes the ghost Wi-Fi within 30 seconds. So he's successful. He's getting rushed down by all of these evil animatronics. He's clicking through menus, and with the last thing, he ends the Wi-Fi, and he's like, "We did it, Vanessa! I saved the day!"
Just as the monsters are about to kill innocent people, not innocent, the asshole adults in their houses.
But then Chica, who is actually the real marionette now, goes no, and then reroutes the ghost Wi-Fi. And so the last 20 minutes of the movie meant nothing because it didn't matter in the first place.
There's no explanation, and it's just we're moving on, and you don't get to do that. You just don't. When you do that, it breaks immersion. It's lazy. It's stupid.
You guys were immersed?
No, I was not immersed, but it breaks. When you're already not immersed and there's an immersion breaking moment, it turns into eye rolling. It turns into contempt. It turns
stupid
into
because I just start thinking about random shit. Because like again, the original ones can't leave, but then they leave, but then they die. But how long? What's the time? Do you get like 5 minutes? You get like 30 minutes? Just enough to kill?
We don't and we don't know.
Yeah, because they live pretty fucking not too far. Because she rode her bike. Then after
you're talking about the original Ghost Kids.
The original
Ghost Kids are using their own Ghost Wi-Fi.
Yes. They walk and they walk so fucking slow. It would have taken them 2 weeks.
And then they fight. They get the job done. It's like, oh, now we're dead.
The second they kill the other animatronic, this is what I was trying to hide, and I didn't want to say is that it turns out the Five Nights at Freddy's characters fight the Five Nights at Freddy's characters, and so we have animatronic on animatronic action. And it's not as cool as you thought.
Yeah, because it's not.
Well, one guy like rips the head off.
Pretty much they all just grab the head of the other one and pull it off. I wish it was a fight. That would have been awesome. But it wasn't a fight. It was more like I just take your head off.
So your disappointment is immeasurable, and then at the end the kids just randomly go and their eyes start, and it's like what's happening to them? And then the daughter characters are crying.
You laughed. You laughed.
I laughed. I'm like, they're already dead.
Yeah, sad scene.
This is a serious moment. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And they're dying. And then
but before they die, they have to give the big reveal.
So they give a speech. The golden-haired boy comes out, and he says...
That was a brother, right? Or no?
No. This is the random kid that was in the leading Freddy or something. He was Golden Freddy or something. And then he says, we can't hold him back anymore. When we go to heaven, we'll hope to... Kid that was in the lead. He says
that was a brother, right? Or no?
No. This is the random kid that was in the leading Freddy or
not
something.
A random
Golden Freddy or something. And then he says, we can't hold him back anymore. When we go to heaven, we'll hope to see you there.
So they had a child ghost prison that these kids were running, and they had like the dad in there. It's like I want to see that movie.
Yeah. What were they doing while they were? It's all na in their heads. They're holding back. And then so I guess Matthew Lillard's character wakes up and he's back from the hell.
And then Skeet and Michael Mike and Skeet will battle Michael, Vanessa, and Lillard.
Because I forgot at the very end, Vanessa is possessed because the marionette was not dead. She powers up.
He closes the music box, which kills her. And all he did was leave it open, and then they win forever. Instead, at the second that she disappears, he closes it, and then the ghost comes back.
The Mike character?
Yeah.
Why did he close it?
Because he's an idiot. This movie had to end.
Because it was done unpossessing Abby. It's like, okay, we're done. Put that down. It's like, just leave it open, man. Leave it open.
So then, I guess the marionette comes out of.
It comes. You can see it in the mirror, the reflection. It comes out of Abby, and then I think it goes in the back room.
It hides behind the door.
It goes in the back room.
It hides behind the door.
Like, oh,
and he's like, "Oh, everything's fine. Okay, let's go."
Yeah.
And then Vanessa gets possessed.
Are you stupid?
Exactly. Like, what the fuck? It's like, obviously, it's not dead.
You go after it with the music box or with Ghostbusters. I don't care at this point. But they all forget about it.
Yeah. I didn't.
And somehow Danny forgot about the Iron Fleet.
I was like, excuse me, are we just going to not turn...
In Mike's defense, because I know people are typing right now, Mike doesn't know about any of this stuff. But who does know intimately is Vanessa, and Vanessa is in the room the entire time and can just immediately go, no, we keep the box open because I'm the one who trapped this little girl for the last 30 years. Right. So she knows all these things.
As she's walking to the front door, we see the marionette behind her going into her, and then it goes into her, and then her eyes turn yellow. She does the stupid, creepy smile, and we end it right there, and it's implied that we're going to fight.
But there's a end credit where Skeet calls Mike, and Skeet says, "Hey, I wasn't just the father of this person. I was his secret partner, and I have
Who
the
would have seen that coming?
So that ties into the actual lore because there's a guy named Henry, and Henry is going to be vital into capturing all the animatronics and burning them and having a happy ever after.
And so he's like, "Hey, I know how to track the existing things, and I'll tell you all about it." But just as he's finishing the recording, something happens, and so he doesn't know. We don't know who came after him.
It's Vanessa.
Oh,
yeah, Vanessa. All right. That's it, guys.
No, it's Vanessa.
So, making predictions for the third film.
I won't like it.
I wasn't going to say that. Disappointing.
All right, we were at a 3. I went to a 2. Is the third film going to be a 1?
Nah, it
or
can't
does
be.
he actually do something interesting?
I think it's
they
just gonna
open up
be-
another location. It just like the games and the video games, it gets taken over. It's a new corporation. It's called a completely different pizza place, Joe. It just has to do with animatronics, and that brings all the other animatronics back to one location where it can be set on fire.
That's
the lore.
They're going to a haunted house. I'm excited they're going to a haunted house because haunted houses can
That's
be
just
cool.
for Halloween.
So if they take because they're taking the bunny, which is the dead father, and he's the most brutal, savage, crazy person. If that poltergeist is in a haunted house, we could, in theory, have cool situations.
That's what I was
The problem is this dude will be the one writing it, so all of that cool stuff that could happen won't happen, and it'll just be 2 hours of fucking boring.
Okay. Do we get the Purple Man? Was Matthew Lillard technically the Purple Man? There's a purple character that we've not seen that's like a big part of the original.
Well, I did the Five Nights at Freddy's haunted house at Universal. It was not very scary.
Did the animatronics pop out at you?
It did. That's not very scary.
Did it scare you?
No. They had a Fallout one.
Were they cool?
It
looked
kind
good?
of. Yeah, it was fine. But
Did it look like the movie quality animatronics popping
as
out?
best as they could, but it kept breaking down.
All right. Well, maybe that's scarier when you actually, you're on a thing and it goes
broken down animatronics are
that's
terrifying.
actually scary. All right, well, that's it. We went an hour for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Didn't deserve it.
Shit too. It's shit, and now I think at this point you probably agree with us. If you're still on board with this, there is no hope for you. And okay, then we need to introduce you to a lot of other horror films that will open a whole new world of cinematic masterpieces to you. We'll see you for Five Nights at Freddy's 3 because I guarantee you there will be one. No matter what.
Let's make
and hopefully they'll wrap it up
100-ish
at that point. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.